with Sandy.
Cayman's top news headlines of the day from CMR.
Brought to you by J. Michael, fashion for everyone. Good morning, Sandy.
Hello.
Hey, good morning, Blake and Aaron. How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, fantastic.
All
Okay,
right.
Happy Thursday. I can't believe it. This week, is it just my imagination? Has this week really flown by?
It has.
It has.
Whenever you get a lot going on, it seems to fly by because you just have less time for everything.
Well, my kids just went back to school on Tuesday. So, yeah, it's like, no, slow down. I need more break.
All right. So a couple pieces of police news this morning. So a woman, unfortunately, was robbed of her handbag outside of a gas station.
Where at?
This happened in Eastern Avenue. I'm thinking, is this the same gas station that they tried to rob like a couple days ago, remember? And they were unsuccessful because I think they didn't have any cash.
Yeah, it's one right by us here.
So, yes.
Talk about the roof?
That's the only one on Eastern Avenue that I can think of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what the police say, right near the intersection of Eastern Avenue and Godfrey Nixon Way.
On what time of day?
This was at 8:35 p.m.
Wow.
So she was standing outside of the gas station located right there and approached by a man described as slim build, approximately 5'9" in height, believed to have a Caymanian accent. And he was wearing dark colored hoodie when he approached her and demanded her handbag. The woman resisted and the man forced the handbag from her grasp, causing her minor injuries. So if you know anything about this, he fled in the direction of Washington Boulevard from Godfrey Nixon Way, which is right across the way there. If you know anything about this, please contact the RCIPS.
I got to tell you, sometimes I use that ATM there and my head's on a swivel.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. It's just
I don't walk over there anymore. I used to all the time. It's just here you just gotta be too careful anymore.
It's not the greatest area right there.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. So yes, help the police if you might know who he is. I bet you he lives right there in Washington Boulevard area, like down in what we call Swamp. Okay, that's my amateur police tip for the day. The police are also seeking your help in locating two missing girls, ages 16 and 11. They say that these young ladies, Jasmine Ebanks and Kiara Watson, have gone missing. Of course, 11-year-old, super concerning. They were last seen along Seafarers Way in Georgetown around 7 p.m. on October the 31st. And Jasmine has been reported missing on numerous occasions. And she's described as being of dark complexion, 5'1" in height and medium build. And then Kiara Watson, the 11-year-old, is also described as having a darker complexion, approximately 5'3" and medium build. And she was wearing a black hoodie, red spaghetti strap blouse underneath, and gray shorts. So they had a pretty good description for her. And the police are reminding the public that it is an offense to conceal a young person, and you're liable on conviction of being fined $2,000 or to imprisonment for 3 months.
Yep.
So young ladies, you're probably out there listening to the show right now. Just go home. Okay.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. All right. A little bit of regional news. Jamaican blogger Andre Stevens has lost a lawsuit. This is a very interesting case, of course. We always watch these sort of freedom of speech things around the region, around the world. But he lost in default a defamation lawsuit because he didn't respond from investment banker Ryan Strachan. So Ryan says that he made comments about him that were defamatory. And this is in relation to, the whole situation with Usain Bolt having lost his money through an investment company. And now I think several people, at least one person, has been arrested in relation to that. And so it is alleged that on February the 7th of 2023, Stevens published a video on social media containing a number of malicious and disparaging statements and innuendos about Mr. What's his name? Ryan. So there you go. We'll see what happens there. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so kids are back to school, and there was a little bit of traffic delay this morning. We're not quite sure if it was an accident on the roadway, but we're certainly keeping an eye out for everyone, and we'll update you if we know anything more about that. Those are your news headlines today.
Got a funny story for you if you got a second.
Yeah.
So a Florida man, of course, Florida.
Florida.
Right out of
Always Florida.
Florida and Texas.
Yeah. Well, Funny you say that, because a Florida man was, where we combined the two.
Yeah.
A Florida man was cited this week for driving a truck that was painted similar to the look of a Border Patrol vehicle. Now, you've seen those white vehicles with the green stripe.
Mm-hmm.
You ever been to the States and seen those?
Yeah.
Well, instead of Border Patrol on the truck, it said Booty Patrol.
Oh no!
And they got cited.
He was cited under a law that deals with prohibited vehicle lights and vehicles that resemble those of law enforcement. So, of course, I would have thought that was a real thing if I was on Miami Beach and I saw a truck that said Booty Patrol.
That's
It seems like that's a thing there.
Oh my goodness! Yeah.
But there you go.
All right, guys, have a good one.
You too.
All right, check out Sandy coming up on Bobo 89.1 FM. By the way, you can have your.
All right, folks. Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Hope you guys are well. We're gonna get all of our links. Going here this morning. I had somebody yesterday said to me, "Miss Sandy, I didn't get the show link. What's going on?" I was like, "Oh my gosh." So just hold on one second, making sure everybody gets it this morning. They said, "Did you block me?" I said, "No. Why on earth would I do that?" Okay. Oh, I got to charge my phone. My phone is completely dead. I thought I plugged it in last night, but apparently not. That didn't work. All right, folks. Give me 1 second. Grab link number 1. Buenos dias. Okay, link number 2.
Bigger, better, bolder. The cold, hard truth is taking talk to the next level. Right here on Bobo 89.1 FM, Cayman's Community Radio.
We are still spilling the tea.
And committed to being part of the change that Cayman so desperately needs. Join Sandy Hill weekdays from 7:30 a.m. for Premier Access, Cayman Voices, Truthful Thursdays, and much more. Cayman's #1 talk show is now bigger, better, bolder, and more than talk. Getting results with hot topics, consumer reports, court exposés, and more.
I've come to set the record straight. I've come to shine the light on you. Let me introduce myself. I am the cold, hard truth.
Now, from the CMR studio in Grand Cayman,
Live, direct.
it's the cold, hard truth. Now, join the conversation on 345-936-2626.
That number again is
345-936-2626.
Good morning, Cayman Islands. How are you guys doing? Happy Thursday. This has been one of those weeks where I felt like every day was Friday for some reason. So strange and bizarre, but we're here for it. How's everyone doing? Apparently, I thought I was charging my mobile phone last night, but based on what I see, it never got charged. So I will charge it during the show. But hello, good morning, happy Thursday. I think we got some potential weather moving in. We had a little bit of rain overnight. I woke up into the wee hours of the morning and I heard some pitter patter on my roof. And I thought, ooh, the weatherman did predict, Mr. Weatherman. He did say that there's some systems swirling around there that might be causing us a little bit of rain. So make sure you walk with your umbrella today, folks. That's always a good idea. I just keep umbrellas in the car because you never know. You know, Cayman is such a bizarre place when it comes to weather. Have you ever been driving, say, on West Bay Road, right? You're on a little stretch there, and you're perfectly sunshiny, no clouds really, just beautiful. And then all of a sudden, right in the middle of the road, you'll see as you're driving, it's like you could just mark where that rain cloud is and it starts to rain. Like just, it's just so bizarre for such a small place that you can have a rain cloud that covers like a portion of the road. And then the rest of, the journey, you were completely dry. But that's how it is. What can I say? Mhm. So, yep, I always am prepared. I got a couple umbrellas in the vehicle, and oh my goodness, take your. Always have. What are some of the things that you always stock in your vehicle? Tell me now. What are some staple items? This is good. So for me, you always got to have tissue, which means wipes. Once you got kids, you got to carry wipes everywhere. I didn't discover the usefulness of wipes until I had my daughter. There's certain things that you do and you get when you have a baby, and you're like, why wasn't I using this before? This is useful for everything. So the packets of wipes, you can keep them in your handbag, you can keep them in the car. They're super handy. We buy the box from Foster's that you can then put in, like it comes with 17 in the box, and you can put a pack in every single bathroom, every single room. They're just so handy. You need to wipe off your hands in situations where you can't wash your hands. You can use those. A lot of them are not flushable though, so make sure you read it. And I think even the ones that are flushable, I probably wouldn't recommend flushing them. Like I'm like, I don't know what material they're made of. They're probably not healthy really for septics and stuff. But anyway, yes, those are one of the most useful inventions ever. So I bought a whole case yesterday. So yep. So where else? What else is useful to have? We have, oh gosh. Oh yes, umbrellas, like I said, an extra pair of shoes. Things happen. Shoes have issues. So I always have a comfy pair if I can in the trunk, just in case I need to slip into something else or my foot starts giving me a problem while I'm out and about and I need to take off shoes that are restrictive. Keep a pair of shoes. Paper towels. I always try to keep a roll of paper towels in the car because there's like spillage. Again, when you have kids, you're like, they spill things. You try to tell them there's no eating in the car. And invariably, no matter how much you have that rule in place, there's always going to be that, oh, mommy, I'm so hungry right now. I think I'm going to die from starvation. And you're like, you got to make a quick stop and just get them something to eat. So have the paper towels on hand because they're messy. Kids are messy and things happen. What else? A pen. I always try to keep a pen in the car. Your phone chargers, obviously. All your proper documents for your vehicle. Try to keep those in the car. And are there any other essentials? Let me see what you guys are saying. Anything else you keep in the car? Good morning, Richard. Morning, Marshall. Power Liking. Morning, Miss Oline. Good morning to you. Shaka Zulu. Buenos dias. Damaris joining us from cold New York. It's getting cold already. Brr. Good morning, Paradise, says Pat. Good morning to Aliano. Any other essentials, First Lady? What do you keep in the car for the kiddies and stuff? Wee Wee's here. Good morning, Miss Olive. Miss Olive is nice and early today. Dion, Nicole, good morning. Damien, Miss Bonnie, good morning, joining us from East End. Felicia and Dean, Patricia's here. Miss Evelyn, Leroy, Miss Renita. Good morning, caller. What are you keeping in your car? Essentials.
I just wanted to mention one thing,
Yes.
Jumper cables. That's all.
Jumper cable. Thank you. That's a good one. I got to tell you, I don't have any idea how to use a jumper cable. But that is actually a good idea to at least have it. Because even if you don't know how to use it and, you have a battery issue, then somebody else can come and help you. Do you know that they now have these self-powering jumper cable, like little kits where you don't even need anybody to give you a jump. And so they're like little battery packs basically for your car. So if something happens, you can just connect that, but you got to make sure you know what you're doing because some cars are different. And I'm like, I'm not going under the hood because I don't want to break anything. But yeah, that very, very useful. The last time I had the car wouldn't start. I had to call that young man, Jonathan, and he was here in a jiffy, but still I suppose if I had one of those, I knew how to use it, that would be useful. So jumper cable is a great idea. Oh, Strong Wilt says lotion. Yes, all women and men, but mostly women, probably know that you need to have lotion on hand. So one of the things that I always have is my little oil, because you guys know I have very dry skin. Because again, let me start drinking my water. I complain about drinking water and then I'm not drinking any. All right. So yes, my skin is tends to need a lot of moisture. And I find that for me, the oil actually works really well and moisturizes and my skin keeps the oil. So I try to keep one of those like in the door or something like that. What else do you keep in a car? So starter kit, says Damien. What kind of a starter kit? Oh, yes. The same thing like a jumper. Yes. Okay. Tracy says paper to write on. Yes. Never know when you got to take down a little notation of something. I keep encouraging you guys to please get your dash cams. More and more, these dash cams are so important for you in terms of, the things that are happening around you. Sometimes it's not even you involved in the fender bender. Something happens and your dash cam can be your best witness. And they have dash cams. I'll tell you guys the one that I prefer is the 3 camera dash cam. So that has a rear dash cam. So from behind, it has the one in the front, and it also has an interior dash cam. Now, don't y'all go get yourself in trouble. We're going to be talking about swingers here in a second. Don't go get yourselves in trouble now with the interior dash cam, because that means that if you have the microphone turned on, people can hear your conversation if somebody has access to your dash cam. So just fair warning, understand what the interior camera is capturing. It's capturing the cabin of the vehicle. And, if you have the microphone on, because you can turn the internal mic off, but if you have that on, it's capturing everything you're saying as well. Mm-hmm. All right. So Stephanie says, coolant, keep that in your car. Really? Do you have an issue needing coolant a lot? Mm-hmm. And Tracy says that new cars can't be jumped. You see, I kind of think this might be a thing because I don't know. That last Mercedes I had, when you open up underneath that, child, nothing really looked too familiar to me. I was like, I'm not touching nothing in here because I don't know. And then some of these cars have batteries in like weird places, like the batteries underneath the car and all kind of weird stuff. So I'm like, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to just have to call somebody for a ride. Stephen, good morning. How are you? Damaris says that in New York, you change to feed the parking meter. Oh, you need change. Okay, yes. You guys still have parking meters? Let me ask you something, Damaris. I'm curious. I don't recall. I guess there's some still in Florida as well. But are the parking meters like smart now where you can just tap your card? Have they advanced to that stage yet? Or still, you said you still need change. That sounds a bit antiquated. When are they going to deal with that? They need to upgrade. In the state of Florida, in case you haven't noticed, for years now, there have been no toll booths. Remember the toll booths? Isn't it amazing? Think about this for a second. I don't know how old you guys are. Let's say your average listener here is maybe 30, 35, up to whatever. There have been so many changes in our lifetime. And sometimes the changes, you don't even notice them. Like it happens. And then you're like, one day you're like, wait a minute. There are no more toll booths anywhere in Miami. I haven't been to Orlando in a minute, but they're gone. Remember when you had to drive in there and you had to stop and you had to find change and like throw it in the thing? And then there was a toll booth worker sitting there potentially giving you money. That wasn't that long ago. I mean, 5 years ago, maybe. And now they're all gone. The whole structure, everything is gone. They've got these smart cameras with your little SunPass that just captures, what you owe the government for your tolls. So amazing. So they've eliminated the need for those jobs completely. Pen, paper, Vaseline, lotion, wipes, and body sprays, says Irvlyn. She got a whole toiletry kit going there. Mm-hmm. I always like to carry a little perfume or a little body spray too. So I tend to keep that in the glove compartment. But you can have a little toiletry kit. Sometimes you need a little toothbrush or whatever. You just keep that in the glove compartment. Shaka Zulu says, don't keep plastic bottles of water in the car for extended periods of time due to the heat. Yes. Well, don't drink out of it if you do. Yeah, absolutely. A phone charger. Good morning, Miss Sandy. Yes, everybody needs a good phone charger, or one or two. to be honest. And the ones that are multi-pronged, do you guys have those? I have one here. I can show you actually. I get these all the time. They're amazing. So it actually has 4 pieces and then 1 USB, right? So I can on this one, I can charge 2 iPhones. I can charge a USB-C, which is normally like a Samsung. And then this one, I forget what this little one is called. This is like the older little, like kind of smaller flat connection. But there's some devices that still, like my portable MiFi device, still uses this as well. Most things are transitioning to USB-C. And the lightning cable, which was specific to Apple, now in a couple of years, that'll be a thing of the past because they have finally, with the new iPhone products, gone to USB-C, which was kind of the industry standard. And the European Union forced them to do this. And I think it's actually a good thing because you have all these multiple chargers that you have to buy. But this one's pretty cool because it's like a 4-in-1. And I like it because the threads are very, very, they last. They're very, very well made. I think iPhone chargers were like a gimmick for the longest time because the cabling that they're made out of would bend and rip, and then you'd see the wires exposed, right? And I think they were doing that just to make you keep buying charging cables. Anyway, yes, a good couple of charging cables is always a good idea, Sandy. Ms. Marjorie says a lint remover, sunshade, pen, and a comb. Okay. A lint remover. Is lint a problem? I don't really use lint removers, to be honest, but okay. Miss Olive says, I always have a bag full set of clothes in my car. Really? All of that? Oh, okay. Sermon is asking, did I miss the swingers? Not yet. We'll be coming out swinging in here in just a second, Sermon, not to worry. JD, what's that link that you're sharing? Reddit, something about the Cayman Islands. Hold on. Let me see if I can grab it in the other screen here. I have to open up Facebook in order to grab that link. Let me see. All right, Marshall, he is packing lotion, cologne, Listerine, gum, pen, and a plastic bag. What's the plastic bag for? Like a garbage bag? Okay, I can see where that is useful. And normally I don't know if it's like hold on one second. I'm trying to grab JD, I'm trying to grab your link. Hold on. Oops. Share it again so that it's the last comment. Let me see. I'm trying to scroll up and find it. JD. All right, so this says, oh, it's for today's discussion. Thank you, JD. We're gonna get there. A lot of you seem to be interested in that topic. Morning, Siobhan, Felipe. Good morning. Miss Marjorie says a plastic cup to keep change. Okay. You know what else? Well, a lot of these cars now, they have little change compartments. Some of them have like a little hidden compartment, like under the steering wheel. That's perfect for change or a couple dollars. I've been caught before. Like I said, I don't tend to carry money. So I've been caught in a situation where I need cash. I'm like, oh man, I don't have any cash. Like if you go to the farmer's market, they only take cash. So, you kind of have to prepare for those trips. Yeah. But Aliano says, don't keep money in your car with those crackheads. And this is also a thing that unfortunately a lot of people know that people tend to keep small change. Some people leave their whole handbags and laptops in the car. Folks, don't do it because there are people who walk around, trying cars. And I think most of them are not going to go to the trouble of breaking the car if they can. But if it's open, they're going to definitely take anything of value that's in it. So make sure overnight, especially, you're not leaving anything of value in your car. So Tracy says that new cars are computerized, so jumping will actually kill the engine. Like I said, I don't mess with that part of the car because I don't know anything about it. So Irvlin says that in London, the app is on your phone and you pay by phone. This is for the parking meters. Yes. Leroy confirms that jumping can kill or burn the computer in these newer vehicles. They're so fancy. Miss Lizette says, good morning, everyone. I always have baby wipes, pen and paper, and a pair of sandals, hand lotion. Yes. I don't know what that one's about. Cashless toll. It takes pictures and sends it to you. Yep. A nail file in your car? Okay. You know what I like to keep in a car? Speaking of a nail file, the one cosmetic thing I really do like to keep either in my handbag or in the car is a pair of tweezers. Am I the only person? This is going to sound so weird, but I know y'all are with me on this. When you sit there and you're stuck in traffic and you pull down your little mirror because, the sun's in your eye and you start to look at yourself and you're like, am I the only person that gets the little stray hairs on the chin? Like they're trying to come out like a man's beard. I think a lot of women deal with that. That's the little bit of testosterone that we have in our system. And so you get like one right there. And oh God, they just bother me. Once I know they're there, I'm like, oh, I got to get it. And they're so like fine in a way that you can't really get them with your fingers. You need a proper pair of tweezers. And it seems like the car mirror illuminates your face in a different way than even your house mirror. So yes, I not walk with tweezers, but I tend to have tweezers in the car somewhere so that when I look in the mirror and I see something that needs tweezing, I can quickly address the situation. Speaking of my face. All right. The power pack, that's the one that you put air in the tires, says Jennifer. Oh yes, that's good too. But I'm going to be honest, I'm completely helpless with anything to do with vehicles like that. I'm not the one. I'm not Miss Mechanic. I can't put air in a tire. Horrible, right? I can't jump a car. I'm not going to be putting a car up on a, what's the things called that you put a car up on? I don't even know what they're called. That will not be me. Look at that, moisturized. All right. First lady says, I always almost have a little of everything in my truck. Whew. Yeah, keep it in an organized bag. Good morning. Dean says a first aid kit and a machete. I don't know if I should touch the machete one though, because you're not supposed to actually carry a dangerous weapon in your car, and a machete is considered a dangerous weapon unless you are a gardener and have a reason to have a machete. If you have a machete for self-defense, technically, according to the RCIPS, you're not supposed to have it in your vehicle for that reason. But if you're a gardener, you can have a machete. Denny has a very, very good one that I feel like a lot of us don't think of until it's too late. A car window breaker. I've always said, there was a number of years ago here in Cayman, there was a very, very tragic situation where a man, it really broke my heart, because the weird thing about it is I had met him some weeks before, maybe a month or two before, this unfortunate accident where he drowned. He went off of the, somewhere down by Grand Harbor area. I guess there are canals or the water's right there. His truck went over and he drowned in his car because he couldn't get out. Oh my God, it was the saddest thing. And it was such a bizarre situation because when I met him, he was such a nice person. That literally the first time I met him, I sat down for like 5-6 hours and we just talked. We were in his neighborhood, just like walking around. I saw his front door, and the front door was so magnificent and so unique and so beautiful that I actually went to the house. I was like, oh my God, I love your front door. Like, this is so amazing. He's like, oh, come on in. Cayman is so amazingly nice. He's like, come on in. Let me give you a tour. We just recently moved in. And I was like, oh, okay. And the man gave me a whole tour of the house. And then he's like, sit down, Sandy. Let's just hang out by the pool and have a bite to eat. Can I offer you a drink? I was like, oh, you're so nice. And his wife was there. She's really, really lovely. And we talked. And he just had a new grandbaby. And he was talking about the grandbaby. The little grandbaby looks so much like him. And he was so in love with this grandbaby. He was so happy. And then a couple months after that, I heard of this tragic situation where I think they were out all day on a boat or something. And, he was leaving from like the boat ramp or something. But anyway, the car went overboard and he basically couldn't get out of his truck. So this is one of those things. From then, I'm like, everybody should have a car window breaker in their car. But, you've always got to know where it's at. because it's one of those things that, hey, it's going to happen in a split second, heaven forbid, that you go overboard. You can't roll down because then all the circuits in your car start to go bad. If you don't roll down your window within like a second, that window ain't coming down and you cannot get out. So Denny makes a very, very good point that a car window breaker is something that you should have in your vehicle. But most importantly, you should know where to find it in the vehicle. Because there are times that something might happen where you've got to break that window to get out, to save your own life and save the lives of anybody else that's in the vehicle. And, you know, although in my mind I've said it, yeah, I need to get one of those. I've never gotten one of those. So Denny, I think I need to go to Amazon, add that to my list. Olive says, always keep gas in your car. It doesn't look good when your car runs out of gas, especially if you're a dolly. I hope you mean gas in the gas tank and not anywhere else in the car. But yes, you know, try to keep your car topped up. At least quarter tank. Is that enough on this island? I kind of feel like quarter tank could be enough. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Sandra. Listen, he did not drown. His spine was broken from his neck all the way down. That was my uncle, actually. So I can rectify that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But he couldn't get out of the car, right? Out of the truck.
Because it locked up.
Yeah.
Automatically, the truck locked up. But he did not drown. There was no water in his lungs.
Oh my. So it was the impact of the actual vehicle hitting the water.
Yeah, correct.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
He was
But
such a nice guy.
Yeah, you do need one of those window smashers in your car. Because especially the smart cars, when they lock up, they lock seatbelt windows and everything.
Oh my God.
I mean, again, I guess the government would fight against it since it's legal, right? But it's something that is needed.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for that. Oh, that's so sad. Such a nice person. All right. Janet says a medical kit should be kept in your car. Like just a first aid kit, or do we need more than that? Good morning to Ingrid. Thank you so much. Marshall says yes to put garbage in, or if you need to put something in it, but I can't hold it in my hand. Aliano says a fruit picker in case you pass a juicy mango tree you want to pick off of a tree, no Caymanian, ask first. Oh my gosh, Aliano. I used to drive around, not all the time, of course. Like I would say, okay, today I'm going to purposely go out and pick mangoes. And I would put my little tree picker in there. I haven't seen a good tree picker in a while, though. They're really long, so you need a good long vehicle. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Yes, good morning, Sandy.
Good morning,
I
darling.
heard that the headrest that you have on the seat, the back part that you rest your head on, you can remove that to break the window. But they said that's what it's there for. So you remove that so you can use that to break the window.
Okay. Gosh, have you ever tried even lifting those, though? They're kind of hard to even pull up, much less remove.
There's some of them have on the side that you push in so you can pull it out.
Okay.
So they said that's what it's for. Okay, bye.
All right, darling. Thank you very much. I hadn't even thought of that, but that seems like a lot of work. Beach towels and beachwear, says Barbara. She's always ready to hit the beach. Morning, Angela. Shaka Zulu says Cayman has has bodies of water everywhere, so keep a glass breaker within reach of the occupants. And somebody else just said to also keep a cutter for the seatbelt, because just like how the window locks up, the seatbelt is going to lock up and you're never going to be able to get out. Leroy says a folding chair. Radio listeners, you should see the look on my face right now. I'm like, what? A folding chair to do what? Sit on the beach? Start a fight with a folding chair? What exactly is the folding chair for? At this point, folks, you no longer have room in your car for groceries or anything else. First lady says she's got body cream, clothes, shoe, pen, book. A book? When do you got time to read? Perfume, wipes, makeup bag, and so much more. I feel like I live in my car. Ingrid is only keeping slippers in her car. Stephen got tweezers in his room, in the bathroom, in his backpack, everywhere. Good. Irvlyn says she can't live without tweezers and she's always tweezing in the car. Morning, Mr. Melvin. How are you? Rocio says, me too. I have a pair of tweezers in my car. Vicky says, how my face is full of hair. Child, you gotta get it. You know what you need to do, Vicky? go and have it do your, what's it called? Waxing. Have them wax your face. Yeah, it's a thing. Nail clippers, morning, Miss Morna. We're just spending a little bit of time talking about your car necessities. What is it that you have in your car? Tracy says bottles of water. I can't put air or gas in my car, says Miss Olive. You can't put gas? Hey, I'm not that bad. I can self-serve at the gas station. I don't feel too bad now. Yeah, so tweezers seems to be quite popular. Do yourselves a favor and find a good waxing expert. Seriously. I get it all waxed, Sunny Chill. Shaka Zulu says a glass breaker for emergency exit. Yes. Dion, good morning. Missing grocery in a cart. What? Someone sent me a message last night regarding a missing grocery in a cart at Foster's Airport. So they missed their groceries? What do you do with your, what do you mean? You are walking around with your cart and you go to the parking lot, you walk away and leave it and it goes missing? What? I don't understand. Dion, you got to break that one down for me. Siobhan says that's the problem. We can't have anything for self-defense, but you got criminals with weapons. So Miss Vernita says, yeah, she just read that the headrest is for that. Carry a candy or snacks if you're diabetic. Yes. Alba, buenos dias, ¿cómo estás? Johan wants to talk about the swingers. Calm down, Johan. Calm down. Oh my gosh. What a mess. We'll talk about it. Rough seas. Hold on. These men, they're all like, oh, Sandy, let's talk about swingers. All right, we're coming. Oh yeah, I know, it's so funny. Okay. Yes, Ingrid said he was such a nice and respectful man. Absolutely. The headrest is a window breaker. Again, Miss Olive says that. So I would like to know how easy it is to take the child. I'll be trying to adjust it. And I'm like, you can't even adjust that. And then some headrests, some cars, you can't remove the headrests. They're like electric and all this kind of fanciness. So I don't know. Morning, Paul. He carries a fire extinguisher in his car. Now, for the record, Paul is a fireman, so that makes total sense. Megan says do laser treatment if you can afford it. Otherwise, the thing works for months. Rough Seas wants to get to the swinging. He said, okay, enough about hair plucking. I want to talk about swinging. Well, that might be relevant to hair plucking too. Toothpicks. Aha, that's a good one, Miss Marjorie. I also carry the little tooth flossers in the car. I don't keep tweezers in my car. I live in West Bay. No traffic. Hallelujah. Aren't you lucky? Sermon also wants to talk about swingers. All right, folks, we're getting to the swinging conversation. Hold on, men. Stop your swinging. Andrea says, I think we all know what we came for this morning. All right, one or two more comments, and then we can talk about swinging. Y'all are ridiculous. This person says, I bought a few window breakers for my children and myself, but need an abandoned car to ensure that it works like they claim. You know what? Go and do it on one of those cars, like people leave the car abandoned on the side of the road. Just go test it out over there. She's correct about the headrest, but they no longer design all cars like that, unfortunately. Yes. A small screwdriver, a flashlight, and female products, says this one person. Very good. And women know the necessity to have that. A car window breaker is actually in the car. It's in the headrest, this other person says. They can be removed, and the metal spikes used for breaking the glass window. I never do that. Good morning. Oh, gosh, my apologies. I think I forgot to send the link to some of my people. 1 second. All right, because we want to make sure everybody can get in on the swinging conversation, because like that person said, that's what y'all are here for. So somebody says most people use an app for parking now, and this is the one they use called Park Mobile. Oh. In Canada, you can tap your card for parking meters. Thank you very much. Okay. So following up from yesterday's conversation, Anthony says, all I need to do is bring the conch, and he has all the ingredients to make me some marinated conch. Okay, where can I get conch from? Don't tell me to go to the ocean because I don't know nothing about that. Daisy got wipes and sanitizers. Who installed your dash cam? I'll send you the link. Okay. All right, let's talk about swinging because that's what y'all want. All right. Okay. All right, folks. So yesterday, there was a post that went up about some people looking for swingers. Now, if you don't know what swingers are, what a hot mess. I don't know what to tell you. You just gotta go look it up. Let's see what the internet has to say about swingers. Hold on, let's get a proper definition because Lord Jesus, I don't know. So swingers, first they talk about golf. That's not the kind of swingers we're talking about. Swingers, the movie. All right, so here we go. Wikipedia. We will accept the wiki definition. Swinging, sometimes called wife swapping, husband swapping, or partner swapping, is a sexual activity in which both singles and partners in a committed relationship sexually engage with each other for recreational purposes. Swinging is a form of non-monogamy and is an open. Swinging is a form of non-monogamy and is an open relationship. Okay. People may choose a swinging lifestyle for a variety of reasons. Practitioners cite an increased quality and quantity of sex. Some people may engage in swinging to add variety to their otherwise conventional sex lives or due to their curiosity. Some couples see swinging as a healthy outlet and means to strengthen their relationship. You want to be careful with that one. The phenomenon of swinging as its wider discussion and practice is regarded by some as arising from the freer attitudes to sexual activity after the sexual revolution of the 1960s. I think it dates back way past that, probably from the medieval times, chow. Or even the Greeks were into some form of swinging because, they didn't really believe too much into marriage. All right, so we have a baseline definition, folks. All I can tell you is let's have a look at this post. And of course, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the world of swinging. I understand that this is something that's alive and well in the Cayman Islands. I got to tell you, I honestly don't know anything about this lifestyle. It sounds interesting. Here's the thing, right? What do I think about this? Listen, honestly, I don't care. If you want to swing and that's your preference, go out there and swing from here to West Bay to, I don't really care. I think that what you got to do, though, in terms of your own relationship, you might have some concerns. I can see the argument that people make that human beings are actually not designed to be monogamous. And I myself kind of like, long gone are the days when, somebody got married and they stayed married for 75 years. Mind you, a lot of those people might have been married for long periods of time, 40, 50, 60 years, whatever. That doesn't mean that they were monogamous. There's a difference. Do we not know this? Because they are out there with all these, they have outside children sometimes of proof of their infidelity. And so are human beings really designed to have one partner for your entire life? Anybody care to weigh in on this? Do you believe, question of the day, that humans are designed to be monogamous? Because we know in the animal kingdom, there are some animals that it's just not in their DNA. So if it's not in your, DNA to be monogamous, what are you going to do? This concept of marriage forces us to be tied to one individual. And really it has to do with when we go back to the origins of marriage. By the way, when we were in Greece, we had a whole little lecture series on like marriage and family values. And they were talking about, now the divorce rate in Greece is so high. And, before women didn't have a choice, they had to stay in the homes. And so they just stuck it out. Now women have more freedom. They've got jobs. The number of people getting married has gone down and the divorce rate has gone up. And I said to someone, I said, I think it's a shift in society that's probably happening all over the world. That's nothing unique to Greek society. We have that right here. But maybe it's a shift that because we have this concept in the last couple of years of what a marriage and what a monogamous relationship looks like, we don't understand the history of where humans have come from, right? Where you didn't have a monogamous relationship. Your sole purpose of being with someone was for security and procreation, and that was it, right? And, caveman days, they were out there just looking for the woman with the right kind of look, the right hips, the right hip to waist circumference to go, oh, yes, she's good for making my offspring. And that was really the primary focus of why you were even attracted to certain people. Good morning, caller. What's your take on this?
Good morning.
To swing or not to swing is the question.
I vote not to swing. But
Okay.
I wanted to talk about what you brought up about non-monogamy, right?
Yes.
And
do you think human beings are designed to be monogamous?
I don't think that we are. However, that's not to say that because if we were designed to be monogamous, let's say you get married to someone and then your partner dies, you wouldn't find anybody else ever again because you'd be tied to that one person. So it doesn't make sense. But I think that when you marry someone, right? We see everything what's going on with what's his name, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett. But anyway, that's another conversation.
Oh God, that's a hot mess.
You see, the purpose of marriage was for two things, right? One, to secure resources, as well as to provide a stable environment for any children that you would bring into your family, right? And for me, I think more than love, more than sex, stability is the most important element in any family structure. How can a marriage or a relationship be stable if you're introducing foreign elements into that relationship? So no, humans were not designed to be monogamous. Even the Bible talks about men having multiple wives, but I don't think that it makes for a very stable environment for either the relationship or for the family. That's my opinion.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. So I agree with that caller that traditionally human relationships have been, and especially for women, like you want to ensure that you know who the father of your child was, right? So men, not so much so. They can go around with a degree of freedom. But yes, it was all about security for you. And it was also, and in fact, because here's the irony of the situation. We talk about security for women, but do you know in all cultures basically around the world, who was paying the dowry? The woman's family was paying the dowry for the man and his family to take on what they saw as a woman who was burdensome. Because now you have to take care of my daughter. Well, we got to give you 5 pigs, 2 chickens, and a big fat cow for you to take her off of her hands. Because historically, women have unfortunately not been, highly valued as such, right? So we were the ones who were, this was a trade, this was a business transaction. We were the ones who were having to, and the families of women were the ones who were having to pay out this dowry. Isn't that crazy? What a mess. So do you believe, and let's see what the science has to say, are human beings, because there's certain birds and all sorts of animals that are definitely, they do not mate for life. In fact, they just hit it and run. That's how, they're just securing their gene pool, and that's it. Other animals are a little bit more sophisticated. Like they actually have a courtship that they go through. And they woo the other, the female or the male version. And sometimes it's the female doing all the work, right? You ever notice that in the animal kingdom, like with birds and stuff, the males tend to be very dry and ugly. Like they don't have the most beautiful feathers. It depends on the species though, because sometimes it's the opposite. And it's the guys who are going around doing the little dance. So there's quite a bit. I mean, it's interesting, but I think there's quite a bit of variance in how animals mate and what the courtship may or may not look like. The women can be the beautiful ones with all the beautiful feathers. Sometimes it's the opposite, and it's the men who have the beautiful tail feathers, and and they have to work really hard for women. The other day I was reading something with I think it was frogs, but there's apparently a frog species that the female frog basically pretends to die to get rid of male suitors that she's not interested in. Like she just freezes up and goes bloop, and they think she's dead, so they leave her alone. I thought that was so funny. I was like, oh, yeah, every single woman out there can relate to why that would be a good trait for a woman to have. Your husband, no, not tonight, honey. I'm dead. Leave me alone. All right, so swinging takes it to another direction, obviously. There are people who have open relationships. So an open relationship isn't the same as swinging. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm no swinging expert, but swinging is where you and your partner participate together in it, right? An open relationship, and that last caller mentioned Jada Pinkett and Will Smith. People have always said that they have some sort of an open relationship. She's revealed she's got some new memoir out now where she says all kind of stuff that they've actually been separated for years. And, she's had a, what was it that she had with that guy? Not a compilation. What was it called again? But she does the most. I mean, they seem like they're a little bit freaky, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised by anything that Jada Pinkett, and that would not surprise me. And although she said this stuff in her book about him, he still shows up supporting her because they have it's a very interesting dynamic. You get the sense that she is the entanglement. Thank you. Thank you so much. You get the sense that she is the power person in that relationship, which is kind of interesting. And then Will just he's there for it. Like, he's going to defend his woman even when they're not together. Like now it makes you question, like, why would you get up and slap Chris Rock for a woman that you're not even with? Like, what is this all about? Is this just keeping up appearances? Like, it's just really weird. Like the whole thing is weird, but women like a man, I guess, who is going to defend them and their family. That's again is very, very like a nature thing, right? So if you're in the swinging business, apparently there is a group that they've set up now on Reddit, or they're looking to set up a group called Cayman Swingers. Here's why I think swinging is problematic, right? And the last caller, I think, touched on it, and it's a very, very valid point, is that what you're looking for in a relationship is stability. And stability includes a number of different things. So financial stability is important, but you also don't want the stability of having other people in your relationship, even if it's just sexual, right? So, there are people who believe in polygamy. That's one man, and it's not as usual for the woman to be the one who's going to have multiple partners. So normally it's a man with multiple wives. Y'all see this show on TV now called, what's it called? 9 Wives or whatever, where they show you, like the Mormons, I think, are into polygamy, and they'll show you what their households look like. Most men think, oh, this is such a dream for me, because every night I get a little variety. If I want to go with wife number 1 or wife number 2, and you see them, they're so ridiculous sometimes. I've seen clips of the show, and the man's like, oh, all of my wives, sister wives, oh, all of my wives get along. No, they don't. They're bickering and they're fighting and they're menopausal sometimes. And then you want to get a younger wife, and the older wife don't like it because she's like, why are you bringing in a young woman in my house? And now I'm doing all the work and I'm raising the children. She's the one having all the fun in the bedroom. It just, to me, it's too much of it's too wild. Caller, good morning. What's your take on this? To swing or not to swing? Monogamy, yay or nay?
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Okay, good morning.
Morning.
Well, in the real world, not to swing would make a better society,
Yes, okay.
But
why?
But to each their own. But and you asked the question, basically, if the world would be better or worse without that, you know.
Yeah.
But family values. You know what I mean? You know how much unfathered kids you would have running around, or unwanted kids you would have running around if that was the norm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
well, I mean, I don't know, because I'm assuming. I mean, I don't know how stupid people are, but I am assuming that people are smart enough to protect themselves, even if they're swinging. Like you can't be trusting people on the streets. So,
well, in the world today, social media is what makes everybody have this freedom of thinking that they could do anything, you know, because
but swinging dates back before social media.
Yeah, but in the Caribbean we call swinging battery. Battery been here from God knows when. Even me as a child or as a adolescent or as a teenager, I done that too. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't condone that now. I wouldn't want to have.
What do you say that again for me? You say you call it battery?
Battery. That's what we call that in the Caribbean. Battery.
I learned something new today.
When you have more than one partner in a room doing things, that's a battery.
Okay, I never even heard that before.
But for the social people out there, it's called swinging.
Okay, well, somebody says battery and swinging is different. I don't know what the difference is. Y'all need to break it down. It's the same thing?
Okay. Swinging is you carrying a partner with you and you having intercourse with other people, right? That's swinging, right? The same thing as battery. You bring in a girl or you bring a couple girls and a couple guys and they're doing their thing. It's the same thing.
Okay. So
if it's just one country call it one thing, one people say tomato, one say tomato, it's the same fruit.
Mm-hmm.
And and next thing too, I grew up in a family home where my mother, my father, I met my grandfather, my grandmother, my great grandfather, my great grandmother, and those were all great family settings because when my great grandfather passed, my great grandmother stayed to herself, and the rest of the family and everything was good.
Yes.
My grandmother same way.
And that was let me say that was
and my mom is also the same way. That's strong. These are strong women.
Yeah. But does being strong, let me ask you a question, right? Does being a strong woman mean that you don't have any sexual needs after a partner has died? I mean, if you're 60 years old, you still young and you know.
No, Sandra, that's something totally different. You know what I mean? Everybody have their own niche or their own need, you know what I mean? But it's a moral fact.
So you just don't remarry?
No, not it on a biblical sense, you're not supposed to, right? But on a moral sense, you can't tell.
The Bible says you can't remarry? I never knew that.
Well, the Bible tells you basically if a woman's spouse dies, she's supposed to marry the brother.
Oh, geez, I'm peace.
And that's how that. Well, that's the biblical, but that's draconian days, you know. Times has passed, so everything has to be adjusted, you know. But what I'm saying about that is a moral stand. It's not just because I feel I'm going to do. It's a moral. You know, you want to grow your kids to have that same morality at the same time too. Not because you and Jim not talking good. You can jump on George. You and George Jamaica. You can jump on Joe. What the kids? What is your daughter or your son going to believe growing up seeing this kind of swinging attitude that you're bringing? But they can do the same thing because monkey see, monkey do. So that's
hopefully, hopefully, if you have children, they don't have any idea of what's going on in your bedroom. Like you shouldn't be exposing children to that no matter what. Even if you have a monogamous relationship, you know, there's certain things that really children shouldn't be exposed to. So say you're an adult and you're a parent and you're swinging, your kids shouldn't be knowing anything about that. I mean, let's be honest.
They shouldn't be, but what kids know about today, they shouldn't know either. And they do get older, you know, and they do interact with other kids in school that is stuff or talked about. So it's not only at home that they learn stuff. The biggest library for a kid is at their school because they get everybody household what's going on and they piece it together. Know what I mean? So basically, the old time relationship thing, I think that was better. Although you say part of that was because of necessity, because the women were basically on the back burner, basically, if you put it that way. They were set to the side to say, well, they should be seen and not heard, which is wrong. Which is wrong. Now, women could do for themselves. That's why they say, you know, a woman would never pick up a broke man to help her, but a man would pick up a broke woman and make her rich. You see the difference?
Well,
When a
I
woman
think
makes
I think
money,
that
she
goes
don't-
both ways.
when a-
I've seen a
No.
lot of women pick up broke men who they're not
No,
helping them
but-
money. Maybe something
no,
else
some
helping
of them.
them.
No, but well, in a real world, right? You'll find okay, you won't see a woman dress up herself, go out there, and a man who has nothing to offer really, that isn't really cute or anything or whatever it is. He's all right, but he don't have nothing to offer. Like he doesn't have a stable or he doesn't have no stability. 99% of the time, that man is going to be left on the side. But you will find a woman with one eye, one hand, one foot, and she's pregnant, and somebody have her there. You know it's true, and it's the society we live in.
Lord have
The
mercy.
society we live in, you know. And also, about you said something about the animals, about the females in the animal kingdom are more beautiful. No, you have it opposite. Is the male. The male
Sometimes,
peacock.
yeah, sometimes with the peacock,
99% of the time, because the man
has to work.
To have some kind of value. It's just in real life, you know, the man has to have something to bring for the woman to be attracted. Even the puffer fish, he has to make. You ever heard about the puffer fish? How they mate or how they find their mate? Basically, the man has to make. But the male puffer fish, they compete by making these grand designs in the sand. And the female will come across and she'll look at them and see which one she chooses. You know? And you have a lot of species in the animal species that after they find their mate, and that if that mate should pass, they will never ever mate again. So it's out there.
Yeah.
It's out there. And also this one for you. You say you want some good conch, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, I got to tell you now, you know, it got to be a bit of pill to swallow, you know, but you got to call your friend. Your friend makes the best marinated conch I've ever had in my life.
Which friend that is?
Boy, I afraid call about it, but that's your friend, Mario. Call him.
Mario Rankin?
Call him.
Lord have mercy, he might try and poison me.
I'm telling you, no, well, here, well, make somebody call him for you, but I am telling you, Sandra, he makes the
Mario
best.
can cook.
I don't know who teach him, but he makes the best. My mommy loves it too. He makes the best marinated conch ever.
Okay.
He should be in Taste of Cayman. But give him a shout, but I got to come off the radio, though, right? So you have a great day.
I appreciate it. Thanks very much. Wow. So Mario makes a mean marinated conch. Well, we got to try and see if we can find out, but I not asked him directly, chill, because he might put a little something extra in there. It wouldn't be apple cider. Let's put it that way. 936-2626. Don't be afraid, folks. Some of y'all out there swinging already. So let me know what the deal is here. I think that there is, oh, by the way, I've never heard of this, what's it called? Battery. The only kind of battery I know is in criminal law, the battery that'll get you in trouble. I've never heard of this before. So I'm trying to get some clarification in exactly what this is. So some people seem to know exactly what it is. This person says, hold on now. Battery is when more than one guy is with one woman. Okay, so it's one woman and multiple guys is what this person says. Another person says battery is a Jamaican slang, and batteries and swinging isn't the same thing. Swinging is partner swapping, and battery is when several men take on one woman. Lord Jesus. Yes, sir. Okay, that sounds like a porn movie. But all right. The other person says, good morning, sister wives. You have the one with multiple husbands too. I don't think that there's too many of that. Normally it's men who have multiple wives or multiple partners, but this person says battery and swinging is different. Battery is one woman, multiple men at the same time, and they battery her. That's where it comes from. And that's what I was told what battery means. This person, like, they listen, I got no experience. I was just told that. Another person confirms, yes, battery is one woman, multiple men. What a heat. Okay. I didn't know that there was a differentiation between the two, but all right, I get it. I mean, yes, those are two very, very different things. All right. And there are people who are into these, they're like a fetish thing. Like people are into all sorts of stuff. Some people like ugly toes. Some people like to, kiss your big foot, your big I mean, people are just into everything and anything. So Andrea says battery and swinging are two different things. Again, confirm that battery was when you and your dirty friend them. When you and your dirty friend them gang up and have sex with a girl, kiss my teat, which most times is rape. Oh, Lord have mercy. Hilton Grace says battery is gang rape. Usually the woman may agree for one partner, but he carries his friends. Oh my God. Well, let me be very, very clear here. In all of this, I don't know how many of you enjoy a battery situation or not, but whether it's battery, swinging, or whatever, the most important thing is that there is consent amongst all adults. This isn't something that no young person, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even think you should entertain the concept of swinging in your 20s. Like, that is an exploratory time for you to figure out who you are as an individual. Don't let anybody pressure you into anything, right? You wait, and then you figure out, if swinging's for you, you got the rest of your whole life to be swinging all over the place. But I think the most important thing is that people have got to be in consensual situations, whatever it is, right? There are people who are into like the whole dominatrix thing. Some men like to be dominated by a woman. They want to be tied up and handcuffed and whipped and all kind of stuff. I guess whatever floats your boat, but, make sure that it's consensual. Remember when that movie came out? What's the movie called again? What was that soft porn movie called that everybody was all over? It was based in a book. Help me out here now. And that was big in the cinema, and we were all watching it going, oh, Jesus, have mercy. Oh, Lord, have mercy. 50 Shades of Grey. Y'all loved it. That was a blockbuster. Why? Because it's soft porn. Y'all just like to sit there and watch this stuff because y'all don't want to believe that you really just like porn. You know what else? Everybody was talking in recent years about what's the period piece again? Bridgerton, right? And I hear everybody's about Bridgerton. I'm like, why are people going wild about Bridgerton, especially women? Oh my God, Bridgerton's fantastic. And I said, okay, let me go watch and see what this Bridgerton is always about. I like a good period piece, set in the Victorian period and whatever. They always make it look so nice. I said, let me go check out Bridgerton. When I checked out Bridgerton, I said, oh, I see what's going on here. Y'all like Bridgerton because this is soft porn. And I got to admit, that guy, forget what his name is now, that one actor, ooh, honey child, that's eye candy. You know what I'm saying? I saw them scenes too. And I'm like, make sure that's after 8 o'clock when the kids are asleep, when you can watch Bridgerton, child. You can't have that on TV during the day. So, I think human beings, listen, we're sexual creatures. We shouldn't deny our sexuality. We shouldn't deny the fact that probably most of you enjoy it to some degree, or another. Some people, the caller talked about back in the day, your grandmother and whatever, they wasn't remarrying. They didn't have another man. So they made you believe. I don't know if I believe that all the way, but that was a thing. And that proved that they were loyal and married for life to this one person. I don't even think that that's healthy. Like, I think a woman needs companionship, and it doesn't have to be about sex, but you've been with someone for 40 years. Yes, it's not going to be like tomorrow you're going to jump up and go find somebody else. Might take you a minute, but why can't you still engage in a personal relationship with someone? Even if it isn't a physical relationship, just have someone to talk to at that level and to maybe just hold your hand. And, you see these stories where people have their spouses die when they're older, and then all of a sudden they go back to, oh, this was my high school sweetheart before I met the spouse, or they rekindle an old love or an old flame. And I honestly don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I don't think a person is probably meant to be by themselves forever. But I do think it's interesting that in our societies, it's always been the widowed woman that remained by herself forever. The man, he had choices. His spouse died, and honey child, he was remarrying very shortly thereafter and having more children if he still could. And, she died, he would get another wife. You see, historically, men had the option. It was women who was like, oh, you got to dress in black for the rest of your life and remain a widow. I don't think that's fair. Good morning, caller.
Hi, Sandra. I have to call back again and give my give a bit more information. I hope you don't mind.
No. Go right ahead.
All right. So to explain the whole man versus woman thing, right? It comes down, if you strip away culture, you strip away religion, you strip away everything and just put it down to base biology, right? when it comes to sex and reproduction, there's a marked difference between men and women, males and females. Now, men, don't have the burden of bearing children, right?
Right.
Men go out there and create, from the time a boy hits puberty until the day he dies. He will create sperm cells for the rest of his life, right? I think it's like close to about 500, about 500 billion sperm cells he'll create in his life, right? When a woman is born, she's born with a limited number of egg cells, right? And I think between when she hits puberty to menopause, she only has about 500 viable egg cells that will be used, right? And then on top of that, when a woman gets pregnant, I'm talking historically now, so this was before culture, before history, before civilization, before everything, right? Caveman days, if you will, right? Well, even now, when a woman gets pregnant, right, she is the one that has to go through all the symptoms of pregnancy. So, you know, the acid reflux, you know, she got pee all the time, she's craving, she can't turn over, she's miserable, she's this, she's that, da 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 da.
Yes.
Men don't have that problem.
That's for sure.
For us, it's we can just sort of go about and do what we have to do, and we don't really have to reap the consequences, right?
Yes.
Women do, right? So over time, humans now saw this and they said, all right, well, you know what? We need to protect our girls. We need to protect our women. And so if you look at every culture around the world and every religion around the world, there are all of these rules that have been placed on women, right? Because it was about protecting the women folk, and it was about ensuring paternity of the offspring, right? When back in caveman days, and this is just me conjecturing, right? If you had two groups, let's say you had two small families, one family had nothing but boys, and another family had nothing but girls. If a girl got pregnant, that was an extra mouth to feed. She could no longer be of any use to her family because while she's pregnant, she can't do much work. When she has the baby, again, she can't do much work, and that's an extra mouth that had to be fed, right? Whereas the tribe who had nothing but boys, it's like, okay. So like that's why men have always gotten a free pass. Now I'm not saying that that's fair or that's right, but that's just how the world is.
And even like I said about the dowry, it was like it was seen as the woman's family who had to provide the dowry because she was the burden on the family. Like take her away, you know?
Exactly, right? But when it comes to this whole open relationship and marriage thing, personally, I feel marriage isn't for everybody.
Yes.
Right?
And do you see a difference between an open relationship and a swinging relationship? Because there is a difference.
I don't see a difference insofar as if there's a committed relationship. I mean, you don't necessarily need the law to recognize that committed relationship.
Yes. Okay.
I mean, the only difference between a relationship, you know, just a boyfriend, girlfriend, or, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend kind of situation, and the law is that the law grants you certain rights, privileges, and things that come with being married, right? But in terms of the commitment, me personally, right, if I'm dating someone and I go out there or we have this agreement that, okay, you do your thing, I'm going to do my thing, and we come back together, or we say, all right, well, we're going to do this together, in the back of my head, I'm going to be thinking, and I think many men out there can agree with me, well, who did you enjoy more, me or that other person? And my mind is such that no matter what answer you give me, either I'm going to say you're lying, or I'm going to, so I know that it's not for me.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is where the human mind now comes into play, because we are not just physical creatures. So it's not just, sex isn't about just a physical pleasure. It is largely, and by and large, a psychological, emotional thing. Yeah. Exactly. And so this is why I think when people get into the world of things like swinging, like non-monogamous relationships, they're adding a level of complexity. I mean, I agree with you. They're adding a level of complexity to their lives that most relationships will not be able to sustain. I mean, I've seen people who were perfectly happy. They had good relationships. And then the husband, normally it's the husband who suggests it. Oh, I want a little bit of variety. Can we bring in somebody else into the bedroom? And it all falls apart. They're divorced because now that little variety, she's probably younger. She might swing those hips a little bit differently or whatever. And he starts looking at her. They start hooking up on the side without the wife. Because the number one rule, apparently, if you're going to bring someone into a relationship, is it always has to be with both partners there. And so once you start engaging with just that person on the side, you're actually now cheating. And so that changes the dynamics of the situation. But, it's got to happen. You open up that Pandora's box. You can't predict how people are going to feel. You can't predict if that man is going to tickle her in a different little way than you do. And all of a sudden she's in her feelings and 15 years of marriage is going down the drain because she's like, oh, honey child, this feels good. That's the danger of it.
I'd like, Sandra, if you'd engage in a little thought experiment with me, and I want everyone out there listening to the show to engage in this thought experiment with me, right? We all know every relationship, married or unmarried, there are going to be issues that arise in that relationship. There are going to be feelings of jealousy. There's going to be feelings of insecurity. There's going to be feelings of, well, you're not giving me enough sex, or you're not giving me the right sex that I want. Whatever. I want you to imagine two people, and there's a ball between the two of them, right? And in that ball represents all or any potential issues, problems that could arise in that relationship, right? When it's just me and you, right? Oh, well, Sandra, I'm feeling insecure because you don't talk to me enough when I come home and things. So I throw the ball at you. Now, if you catch the ball, that means that you have dealt with the problem, right? Whereas if you drop the ball, right, arguments go ensue, and then, well, you don't care, and you don't this, and you don't that, and so on and so on and so on and so forth, right?
Yes.
When it's just one other person, it's easy to pass the ball to one another, right? I pass the ball to you, you pass the ball to me. When you start introducing other people in it, let's say it's me, and I say, you know what, honey, Sandra, I want another chick on the side. I want to do something, right? Now, this woman comes now with her own ball, right, of problems. Because if I pay too much attention to you, and mind you the wife, if I pay too much attention to her now, to you now, or not to you, she's going to throw that ball at me. I'm going to miss that ball. Next thing you know, she's showing up at my workplace and, oh, well, your woman can't do for you what I do for you, but yet you can't pick up my call and this and that. You're on a big scene, and then next thing you know, I lose my job, right? And then if you open it up to where she can do her own thing, it just ends up looking like a game of dodgeball. It's who can hit the ball and who can catch the ball and who can dodge the ball. Right? So for me, when I mentioned stability earlier, right? More than sex, more than love, more than respect, stability is the most important element. When you get into a marriage, when you bring marriage into it, right? Like I said, swinging is not for everybody. It's certainly not for me. But neither is marriage for everybody, right? When you get married, you make a vow before witnesses, before your spouse, and if you're religious and you had a ceremony, even before God, that you are going to be faithful to this person until death do you part, right? When you engage in swinging with your partner, right? You're making a mockery of marriage. It's better that you didn't get married. You understand? It's better that you didn't get married. And you know what? If you and I have been married for 10 years and, it's a little boring between us, or, you want to spice things up, you're not satisfied with how I'm performing in the bedroom. That's my job to satisfy you, right? Or if I'm bored, it's your job to satisfy me. It's not for us to go out there and look for somebody else, because, again, you're making a mockery of the whole thing.
Interesting.
Right? I mean, when you get married, you are saying to yourself, to God, to everybody else, that you're sacrificing a bit of your own needs to build something together. It can't just, oh, well, honey, you're kind of boring. We've kind of been doing the same thing over and over. Let's bring a third person into it. I mean, you're welcome to do that if you want, but you're just inviting trouble. It's going to the stability is going to.
Yes. And there are more than one ways to spice up a relationship too, right? So I think a lot of people jump to thinking automatically about another person.
put on a wig. Honey, you want blonde tonight? You want red hair? You want?
Put on a wig, dress up. Yeah, some people like the whole, role playing and everything. So very, very interesting. Thank you, caller. I appreciate it.
All right, no problem.
All right, folks, 936-2626. Phone lines are open, honey chow. Let's hear your comments on it. Where do you guys stand on this topic? I think that caller is more of a traditionalist. And I totally get and agree with a lot of what they say in terms of what you might be inviting in to your home. You might be inviting a situation. And yeah. And then some people come in at the swinging level or the, let's have a third party kind of situation. And then they start to look at other aspects of your relationship and they want what you have. I mean, quite literally, we've seen that situation happen, which is a little bit crazy. And they don't always know what you have. There's a perception. They look around and be like, oh yeah, I want this lifestyle. I want to be the wife. Well, nobody made you the wife, honey child. You were just supposed to be the side piece, but these are some of the complexities of what's going on. So Johan has some thoughts on this. Of course, we would expect him to. Johan, you should just call in. That's what you should do. Let me say, Al says swinging is normal. Only the moral police think it's wrong. Battery is usually a group of men with one woman. Oh, by the way, let me make sure I get the correct term here. Somebody said, Sandy, make sure you're saying it right, Naina. It's not battery. It's battery. Battery. Yes, sir. I'm learning here today. BATT apostrophe RY. That's how you pronounce it. Battery. What a hot mess. Morning, caller.
Good morning. How you doing today?
I'm good. What do you make of all of this? Swinging, not swinging, monogamous, not monogamous, introducing third parties?
I'm not for it and I'm not against it. I just gonna add my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
It all boils down to the lust in a man or the lust in a woman. That's all it is. There's no sin. The only sin that you got in this world is your own conscience. So if you feel attractive to a woman and a woman feel attractive to you, and to want to have something consensual, there isn't any sin, and there isn't any sin into that, right? Because you never force her, and she never forced you, right? Only the law say, well, you're a married man and you can't go with this woman, or you're a married woman and you can't go with that man. That's the only thing, that only covenant based on religion that is keeping us from being one another and proceeding our true feelings, because it all boils down to a control. It all comes down to a control mechanism, because remember now, back in but even before the Bible, the Muslims and all them other cultures, they had multiple wives, and they had up to 7 wives, and all they said was that you had to keep all of them, treat all of them equal. No, that was in those times,
And even if we look at the Bible, honey child, even the Bible seems to have permitted a man to have multiple wives and multiple women, and they had concubines and all kind of stuff going on.
Yeah, exactly. And you just had to treat all of them equal, and the society was already used to that. You see what I'm saying? So the woman had I don't know if you want to call it brainwash or manipulated or whatever into that culture. So they accepted it. You see what I'm saying? They accepted their husband with multiple wives. They adapted it because that was the norm. Now today, in today's society, now it's a control mechanism that only one man to one woman. You could look in 1 Corinthians 7, I think, where it says only one man and one woman, just to point out one part in the Bible. But that was introduced into the New Testament by the Roman Catholic Church. So it is a control mechanism. It controls society to only have one man with one woman under the union of a marriage, because they could have less. They wouldn't be able to have that much children, and it would be better for the economy, because remember now, the rich people wanted to keep, and even the royalties wanted to keep their richness, So if a society got too big and out of control, that would have put more pressure onto the economy. So they used it as a control mechanism back in those days, because remember, the Bible was under, by that time now, by the time the Bible was written, that was under the Roman Catholic Church, you know. So when they written that, now they put that piece in there, one man, a marriage to one woman in a union, just as a control mechanism to control the economies all throughout. You check in the Middle East, it's normal up to this day. They could have up to 7 wives. Only in our part of the world and most part of the world's under a certain system, under the Roman Catholic system that was built on those morals. Only accept one wife and one husband. So it was basically a control mechanism. You know, that's what I see about it. And if a person feel like going with another woman and a woman feel like going with him, well, it shouldn't be nothing that's stopping you. You're free. You know, it just boils down what you feel inside of you. If you feel that, boy, I shouldn't go because it wrong, because you were taught that, or you just naturally feel that, well, it shouldn't be a problem. You know, it shouldn't be a problem, because that is happening now. People are still going out there. So they're swinging. They don't call it swinging, but they call it adultery or whatever. It's basically the same thing. Understand that the people mightn't be living together there each, but the husband is going out there and the wife is going out there and having relationships same way without I mean, hiding one another, hiding from one another. So that within itself is a sin. You know, they're hiding, at least with the swingers, they're not hiding that, and everything is open. Well, you see what you're doing, and I see what you're doing. But if you hiding it now, that's deceitfulness, and that's another sin in there. You see what I'm saying? Sex isn't a sin, you know. Sex isn't a sin. It's the way that you conduct it is what makes it a sin. You know. So that's what I think about that. And it's the parrots too. The parrots only have one mate all their life. If they lose that mate before their life is over, they never get another mate. Yeah, that's one of the birds that only sticks with one mate.
Yeah, is that a parrot? I heard in the background, by the way. Did I just hear one chirping just now? You have a parrot?
Yeah, that's a parakeet. That's a parakeet.
Oh, that's a parakeet. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Have a good day.
All right, my darling. 936-2626, folks. There is a very long history. A lot of that, let's be very clear. Somebody said some of that isn't factually correct. That's his opinion. There are some elements of it that, are accurate and some that were technically not accurate. But folks, the history of marriages dates back a very, very long time. And in the very initial stages, marriage had nothing to do. The Bible talks about a man should leave his home and cleave unto his wife. It had nothing to do with that. Like I said, Christianity is actually one of the younger religions. What predated that were all sorts of things. In fact, by our standards, we would consider very wild when it came to, sexuality. And marriages were not, marriage was even a thing. And then marriages sort of started to come into their own. And I agree with what he said, that religion and marriage was a way in which to, and a lot of times, control your communities and control what women and men did, more so what women did. And there is some logic, as a previous caller talked about, that, it was important for a woman to know who the father of her children, and this is just a very innate thing, who the father of your children are. And, biologically, a father, in most cases, not all, wants to protect his own offspring, wants to protect his own children, right? And so that was important for you to be able to say, these are your kids. There's no doubt about that. Men, on the other hand, have always experienced a much more broader degree of freedoms in terms of what they could do, both in and outside of marriages. So a lot of cultures, marriages are just an arrangement. It's just to get you out of your parents' households, or sometimes to even have people who are going to take care of the elderly parents, and they were talking about, in traditional Greek society, how what you did was the family home, like they would, start a family home and then you would build up. So the next generation would build on top, but they were always kind of there, being able to take care of the older generation as they started to age and were less likely to be able to financially support themselves. So it's complicated. It's a long history. I think there is a shift in what we accept and what we don't accept when it comes to relationships and monogamy and all that sort of thing. There's a very interesting article here in Scientific American talking about whether or not men and women are really designed to couple for life. And they say that until death do us part is a compelling idea, but with the divorce rate exceeding 50%, many people very likely agree that human beings have a biological impulse to being non-monogamous. One popular theory suggests that the brain is wired to seek out as many partners as possible, a behavior observed in nature. So, for example, chimpanzees, which, by the way, share like 99% of our DNA, live in promiscuous social groups where males copulate with many females and vice versa. By the way, just as an aside about chimpanzees and primates in general, it was first observed a number of years ago that primates are and I don't know if this is still good factual information, so let me preface it by saying that, but there was a point in time when they recognized that, and I don't know specifically which primate they discovered it with, whether it was chimpanzees or apes or whatever. It might have been the chimps, but they actually discovered that outside of human beings, our closest relatives, which would be the primates, are the only other creatures, the only other living beings that actually have sex for pleasure and not simply for procreation. And they discovered this because and they don't just do it for pleasure, they do it for other reasons. So listen to this. I know a lot of y'all don't like to talk about, the last caller was saying, oh, if you're attracted to a woman, whatever, he was kind of going in that area. I know a lot of y'all, your little Christian antennas just went up. You're like, oh no, hold on a second now. We're talking about same sex situation, but listen to what they discovered with chimpanzees, right? Chimpanzees will groom each other. So they start to pick on each other. You notice, you see them doing this kind of behavior all the time, right? You think, oh, that's kind of weird. But they're sitting there picking the insects off of each other's back. And it's like, normally it's a hierarchy thing. So the person that gets the pleasure of being groomed is higher up than the person who's doing the grooming. And you see them picking it and eating little insects and whatever. But what they recognize is that grooming process, some of that is also like, oh, I need to be your friend. I want to make up with you. If they had a fight or they had an argument, they would actually have sex to make up after they've had an argument. Chimpanzees do this, yeah. And they were like, wait a minute, this behavior, the only other people that we see doing this are human beings. But yeah, and they would even do it with same sex, like two male chimpanzees having sex with each other because they just had a fight and they're like, okay, we're going to literally hug it out and more and make up. And it was just like when scientists started to discover that this was a thing, it's like, wow, this is kind of like nobody else does this except human beings. So it's very, very interesting to see how this kind of plays out across, the animal kingdom, if you will. But anyway, going back to this article in Scientific America, it says that, but other animals are known to bond for life. Instead of living in a pack like coyotes or wolves, red foxes form a monogamous pair, share their parental and hunting duties equally, and remain a unit until death. Isn't that something? For humans, monogamy is not biologically ordained. And this is what I think the last caller was really trying to say. It's all about, the church and religion and our belief system more than anything else. So according to evolutionary psychologist David M. Buss of the University of Texas at Austin, humans are in general innately inclined towards non-monogamy. But he argues promiscuity is not a universal phenomenon. So lifelong relationships can and do work for many people. So what distinguishes the couples that go the distance? Well, according to several studies, a range of non-biological factors can help pinpoint which pairings are built to last. So those who communicate openly. So again, these are the things that will either make your relationship successful or not. So the previous caller was saying not everybody is designed for marriage, right? So there are those who communicate openly, respect each other, share common interests, and maintain a close friendship even when the intense attraction wanes. Because trust me, the intense attraction that a lot of us feel when you first meet someone, listen, 5 years later, 10 years later, that's not really going to be the same way that you feel about that person, because you've now seen them do everything, right? You've seen the belly fat. You've seen, you've seen them at their most vulnerable. Maybe you've seen them cry. Those of you who have wives, you've seen her in childbirth. You've seen her put on weight over the years. Your spouse, you've seen him get what do they call it? The dad bod, so this concept of what attracted you to a person in the initial stages, that's why there has to be more. It can't just be about a physical attraction, because those things will come to pass. They will fade away. So there has to be something more. So that's why I'm a believer in the concept, at least conceptually, of arranged marriages, because I get it. They will pick people who are compatible, and compatibility is extremely important in the success of a relationship. Well, they say here that the research shows that that is actually one of the key factors. Sharing common interests and maintaining a close friendship, right? So that is why, and I mean, it all goes hand in hand. You got to communicate with your partners. And, once you stop communicating, and, when we talk about, there's a difference between swinging, having an open relationship, and actually cheating, right? Because that's a whole different thing. That's when your spouse has no idea what you're into, well, literally who you're into. But, when you start to cheat, I think one of the interesting things about it is the energy that now you are putting into that person, pursuing that relationship, even just having sex with that person. That is energy that you should be directing at the person that you're actually in the relationship with, and that's why once you start cheating, it's easy for you and your brain to go, oh, well, my primary relationship isn't working out. I'm going to leave that, because now you're thinking there's something better out there. And there's a lot of people who have regrets after they've had an adulterous relationship. They then regret it after a while, because they're like, oh man, actually my wife was a good person and we had a good thing going. And, we just had a moment where we weren't communicating well, and we were having, there are ups and downs and valleys in a relationship. And so you've got to keep it going. You've got to continue to court each other. Date nights are important, folks. You want to maintain this relationship, invite your wife out, send her flowers for no reason. Men, are y'all listening? And women, you do things for, I like to book a little massage segment for Marlon, because poor him, he has a stressful life. So I'll say, hey, honey, I got you booked for Saturday. Just show up at this time. Sometimes we do the house one where they come in and, just little things like that. Now I'm a giver. I like to make people, the people that are in my sort of inner circle, I like to give them things and make them feel good. That's just my personality, right? So I am more inclined to do that sort of stuff. Marlon really isn't. Like, I think he has to think about it. Like, oh, her anniversary's coming up. I better go get a present. It's like, duh, me, I'm going to go all out. I'm like, oh, let's do dinner. Let's do this. Let's do that. But over the years, I've come to appreciate that everyone, this is, if you've never read the book about love languages, go get it and read it. Everyone shows their commitment to you and their love in a different way. So he's committed, like he is there. He's not going out, hanging out with the buddies. He's not out in the streets. To him, that's how he shows that he's committed to his family, that he's there for you, that he loves you. He's going to support you. Like, you need something from him, he's going to deliver it. He's going to do it. Right. That's how he shows that he is your partner, or that he loves you or whatever. Because he's not going to be like doing that for every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Although sometimes I tell him he'd be doing too much with other people. But anyway, so I think we all demonstrate and we all need different things from our relationships. But of course, you have to communicate with people in your life and, let them know what it is that you need. So Johan says the following. Johan, I want you to call in. He says, judge not, written somewhere in the Bible. So he went to Dr. Google to find the Bible verse that says, judge not. Now, this is so interesting that somebody would turn to the Bible to say, well, the Bible phrase says, judge not. And so that means that you shouldn't be judging, what people are doing in their swinging lifestyle or in their personal life, not at all. But at the same time, does the Bible not judge in every other chapter? Is the Bible not contradictory in some ways? Like, honestly? So he says, Matthew 7, according to the new, what is this one? The new, what version? What does NIV stand for again? I don't know. I'm only familiar with King James version. I don't know all these new fandangle versions, but it says, do not judge, or you too will be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged. And in the measure you use, it will be measured to you. Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? Live says, true. Your best friends are the best people to pick a spouse for you. It always works out. Friends know exactly what you like. Yes, that is provided that your friends actually know who you are, because some friends, they only know you for party time. What on earth is your hand saying? Data and debate. Well, you have to bring it home. Your hand is not just about your opinion. He says, real men love all of her, no matter what, when she is yours, plus your soulmate, plus your queen. Cameras says, and I think Caymanians outnumbered now. Wait till we marry all 4 and 5 people. Johan is asking me, because he likes to be up all in my business. Auntie Sandy, would you ever swing, yes or no? Short answer is no. I don't personally see. I'm too much of a prude to ever want to consider swinging. I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. It's not how I was raised. It's not. I just don't feel like. I don't even see the enjoyment really that someone would get from it. I would be the person who would have emotional attachment issues. You know what I'm saying? I'd be the person that'd be like, oh, well, he's swinging a little bit better, honey. I think we got a problem. New International Version. There you go. So many versions of the Bible, I can't even keep up. Yeah, you see, I know that swinging would not be for me, honey chill. There'd be too many problems. Yeah, I can see it now. Lord Jesus. All right, not for me. Sorry. Let's see what else we got here. Christianity is not a religion, says Live, unless you make it a religion. Oh, geez, some peace. Damien says, imagine all the STDs they must have had back then. Must have made condoms from sheep guts or some other animal. Well, yes, listen, there was a whole, back in the medieval times and stuff, even the Victorian times, there was a lot of issues with like syphilis outbreaks and all sorts of stuff. So yes, those things were rampant. And that's why it was so important for a woman, even the courtship of the Victorian times, like a woman couldn't even be with a man alone. There couldn't be any hand holding. There couldn't be any touching. You couldn't look at her too sexual, and you had to have a escort with you who was there to make sure that you abided by the rules of courtship. And that's why their courtships didn't last long. Nobody got engaged for 2, 3, 4 years. That is a new fandangle thing, right? You courted for a month if you were lucky. Sometimes you went on 2 dates. You met her once. She looks okay. All right, you're married. You're getting married. And then everybody started planning the wedding and the celebration. Because quite honestly, it just, you couldn't sustain it for long. Because human nature being what it is, you were inclined to want to touch her, to want to see the knee and more. You know what I'm saying? So to remain, especially from the woman's perspective, to keep her chaste and to keep her a virgin, it was very, very, very critical that the mating did not happen. That the wedding and how quickly you move forward was a process that was, by our standards today, actually expedited. It makes total sense, right? 936-2626. Anybody else want to share your thoughts on this topic? Do you believe in mating for life? Do you believe in monogamy? Give us your opinion here today. I'm trying to find a video that I recently saw. I'm not so sure that this is it, but let me see. There was one about this woman was actually talking about the things that you look for, like when you are looking at an individual, what is it that you're looking for to see if that person's going to be a good match? And she said something that was so interesting. I'm just trying to see if I can find it now. Let me just see. That when she said it, I thought, it's something that actually I have said myself and that makes complete sense. But basically what she said, but I want to find it because the way she said it was so amazing. But basically she said, you have got to look at a person's childhood. And it's so judgmental to say that you need to know where someone is coming from to see how compatible you are and whether or not this is going to work out. But what she said in the end, she's like, listen, it doesn't mean that it's not going to work out. But what you do is you look at the person's childhood, and if they've had all this trauma and all these issues, you need to figure out, have they dealt with it? Because if they haven't dealt with it, then that's not the person that you want in your life, because that same trauma is going to manifest itself in your actual relationship. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Okay, and you?
Not too bad. Do you have any thoughts on today's topic?
There's something else I was thinking of. I think is very important.
Okay.
Concerning work permits.
Oh, okay.
I think the government needs to be more serious in the way they're giving out these work permits and allowing people here in our country and on our island.
Mm-hmm. You think those people are going to be swinging and Cayman is not swinging, or?
Say that again?
You think they're going to be swingers or what?
Swingers?
Mm-hmm.
I hope we all don't forget what happened to Estella Scott Roberts. Thank you very much.
Okay. Off topic, or is it just me? Okay. All right. I guess he didn't want to touch the topic. What did that have to do? Were those people swingers? I am a little bit lost this morning. Trying to see if I can find this video. I'm not putting my hands on it right now, but let me see here. Oh, it's such a good video. I'm sure that I saved it. Oh my gosh. I'll keep looking for it. So we weren't really talking about work promise this morning, but okay. All right then. Anybody else on this topic? Let me see if trying to see. I don't think this one's it. Let's have
and honor the person that I sleep in bed with. How am I going to honor my business partner? I was once sitting with a guy we went golfing, and he had just canceled a $100 million deal that he had because he found out that the guy he was going to do the deal with had cheated on his wife. He sat there and he looked at me and was like, dude, you canceled a $100 million deal. It's just business. He's like, it's not just business. If he cheated on the person that he sleeps with, there's a high likelihood that he'll cheat on me. Yeah. And it's like, it's not that it's going to happen or not. It's the fact that there's character flaws that can be changed that a person needs to work on.
That's an interesting one. All right, caller, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Sandy.
Morning, dear. How are you?
I am great. Happy that you had a good trip.
Oh, yes.
Got back safe.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. I just want to weigh into and make some comments on the subject this morning.
Yes.
Because I can tell you, Sandy, you have opened a Pandora box.
Really? Well, I hear a lot of it is happening here, whether we want to admit it or not.
Oh, yeah. Well, whoever believes it's not happening here, they come in then like the ostrich that sticks their head in the sand and leave their butt exposed. Right? I say that to say this. Okay, going back about monogamy.
Yes.
There's a fish that we have millions of them around here called the parrotfish.
Yes.
Right? Some of us call it the rainbow squab. All right. The parrotfish mates for life.
Yes.
And listen to this now. If one of the sexes die, either the male or the female, that other one changes its sex into the opposite sex. So if the male dies, then the female, she turns herself into a male, or vice versa. If the female dies, the male turns himself into a female. Isn't that interesting?
Very. Wow.
Luckily,
And that's the puffer fish?
No.
Oh, there's another.
This is the parrotfish.
Oh, the parrotfish. Okay.
Yeah, the one that has different colors, like the rainbow.
Yes.
And this fish is also the one that is responsible for producing sand. Right? So all of that nice sand that we have on the beach, that is actually parrotfish poop. Because what happens is the parrotfish teeth grows more like a rodent. So they have to keep biting on the coral. And you can actually see this if you would take goggles and snorkels and just go around the reef, and you will see thousands and thousands of these parrotfish biting little pieces off of the coral. And then that goes through their digestive system. And when they're swimming around and wiggling, that drops back down to the bottom of the ocean. And then when we get things like hurricanes, tsunamis, and all these kind of things, it pushes that stuff from the bottom back up onto the land. And that is what we humans, we call sand. Yeah. Anyhow, I do say, yes, there's some interesting things that are happening here, because I can tell you, I have experienced some things myself. I can tell you, I'm on Facebook and Messenger, and I have at least 8 to 10 invitees on a daily basis. I actually had to come off of Facebook because some of these people, I don't know them, right? And a lot of these women are right here, and they are all different nationalities and in all different types of business. Some are in high echelons in our society here, and some are even married. And these women get on social media and they're looking hookups, and they will send you a menu of their price, what they will do, for how long, and so on and so forth. And you can either agree for them to come to your place, or you go to theirs, or you meet at some central location. Another thing that is happening here, actually, I'm putting something together for the RCIP. You have these outlets now that are selling these gift cards. Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, Razer, and Apple iTunes. The women now that are doing these hookups, they don't want no cash again. They want gift cards. And this is another way of scamming, because what's happening, I had a friend cry to me yesterday. I said, man, you are stupid. That should happen to you. He went and sent someone $200 gift cards. That's 200 US. And that 200 US is 250 Cayman. Because what these card companies are doing, they are selling the US cards at Cayman price plus a 30% markup. So in other words, a 25 US card sells for $30 Cayman. A $50 US card sells for $60 Cayman. A $100 US card sells for $120 Cayman. So you see the kind of profit that these people are making off of stupid people. So I said to the guy, hey, you deserve that. Why are you sending money to somebody you don't even know? After he sent the gift card to the person, he never heard from them again. And that's all right. So anybody that do that, they are stupid, 10,000 times stupid. So this is another thing that is going on here. And let me tell you, Sandra, it's not just a single woman, it's a married woman as well. I have married women making contact with me. I said, listen, I don't get involved with that because I don't want to kill nobody and I don't want nobody coming to my house because when they step into my yard, I am a different kettle of fish. I'm not troubling nobody, and when anybody come in my place and with any kind of foolishness, I'm not going to no police. They're gonna have to call the paramedic. Okay? So I can tell you a lot of this is going on here. I can remember from back in the 80s when I used to drive bus, especially in the rich areas, like in South Sound, Snug Harbor, what the other place named Line 3 Bay. You have a lot of these English, American, and Canadian, and European people. Then they would have these toga parties. So this swinging thing been going on a long time in Cayman. Not just now. This been here a long time. All that's happening now, it has increased because of the extent of the population here. So this is nothing new. This has been going on for quite a long time, decades, I would say. Anyhow, just to bring you up to speed on that.
Yes, thanks. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, my dear. So, yeah, I mean, I have no doubt, and I mean literally no doubt, that this is something that is, very much happening in our communities. And I think the truth of the matter is it's probably been happening. I mean, I don't want to say forever, but it probably has been happening forever. So I don't know. It's just something that we want to pretend isn't happening, I think. But that doesn't mean that the reality is that it isn't happening. Oh, mess. Yes, sir. All right, 936-2626 is the telephone number. I think that, if we have to be honest, and my thing is, listen, if it's not for you, it's not for you. I think the caller was talking about scamming, which is slightly different. There are a lot of scammers out there who are obviously trying to separate you from your money. That's a different situation. There are women and men who are interested and who are into this type of thing. They don't want monogamous relationships. They don't want, they enjoy the swinging lifestyle, whatever. But I think the most important thing really is that there has to always, always, always be consent. There can't be a situation, even, and I think sometimes people can be coerced into something that they do not want to do. So a lot of women feel pressured. Oh, I want to keep this man. I want to keep this relationship. And so they feel pressured to, do certain things that they should not, and they really don't want to be engaged in. And I say, listen, if you don't want to do that and you're with someone who's trying to pressure you to do it, that's a big red flag that you and that person are simply not on the same page. And you need to separate yourself from that person because that's not going to change. In fact, if somebody brings it up, this is my philosophy, right? If you're in a relationship and someone even broaches the issue, like, oh, what do you think if we introduce a third person? They're feeling you out. They're testing the waters. They're dipping their toes because they want to see how you're going to respond. If you said, absolutely not, are you crazy? And you're, no, I was just asking. I'm just curious. Honey child, that curiosity should have you concerned. That curiosity means that that's exactly what they want to do. And they're going to do it with or without you. And they were kind of just hoping that you would have said, yep, let's go for it. Now that you've objected, oh no, I wasn't being serious. I was just joking. Don't worry, mommy, I got you. Don't believe him. Don't believe her. It's coming. Rough C says true fact, married women cheat more. I don't think they cheat more, but they probably cheat at an equal rate. Not married women, not just married women, says Siobhan, men too. Live says true. Your best friends. Oh, yeah, I think we read that one already. Okay. New International Version. Thank you, Miss Darlene. I can't keep up with all these Bible versions, honey child. Buenos dias to Ken. ¿Cómo estás? Rough C says, Men cheat too, yes, but my point is women cheat more. Well, who are they cheating with? Are they not cheating with a man? I don't think that women cheat more. I don't know if it's as much, but I still think the facts will bear out that men cheat more, but women do cheat. I mean, the men cheat with somebody. So yeah. So Johan again says, listen, they're consenting adults. He doesn't really care. Garrett says the Bible today includes 66 chosen books to be known as the scriptures. Remember that there were certain books and gospels left out and are no longer included in the Bible. What a hot mess. Good morning, Miss Dorothy. Oh, poor Johan. You're still asking me if I'm into swinging? Johan, try and behave yourself. What if you're really, really, really drunk and on vacation in a foreign? Well, I don't drink, so I've never been really, really drunk, and I doubt that's going to happen. And if you're not into swinging, you're just not into swinging. I don't think that's going to change if you're drunk. Morning, King. King says, Sandy, even if you did it, we would never know. LMAO. Would be the sexy housekeeper in some exotic hotel somewhere private. Child, there's no such thing as a secret. I don't care where in the world you go. Cameron says we need to get Johan to start a swingers referendum. Oh, geez, on peace. Gabby, good morning. Says same here. My husband is mine and only mine. I don't like sharing. And if he cheats, he's out. And then there's divorce, in my opinion. Yes, girl. That's how I feel too about it. As a matter of fact, it's one of the reasons why I think I might have mentioned this on the show before. I'm not really into, and I mean, this is probably very incredibly selfish of me, but you have enough drama in your relationship with all the baby mama drama and all this kind of stuff, right? So I've always been inclined to be attracted to men who were not married before and didn't have any children, all that kind of stuff. Now, you guys know, I was previously married, but as I got older, I realized that might be one of the things that I would have to compromise on. So imagine my little pitter-patter heart when I found Marlon. No kids, and he's never been married. And I was like, are you sure you don't have any children? I'm like, you are Jamaican after all. Yes, I said this to him. I'm like, I'm going to have to wait a minute. We're going to be dating for a couple of years because I know these baby mamas are going to be popping out of the woodworks. And child, I've been waiting for him. And I've been checking his phone just to make sure any woman messaging, you the baby mama? None. I was shocked. I'm like, what's wrong with you? This is unusual, highly unusual, because I don't want to deal with the drama. Like, if it's maybe one child, maybe I could compromise if he was right in all the other ways. But let me be honest. I'm not into the baby mama drama and you trying to hide kids and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And they fighting and they get upset because you got a new woman. And then I got to be like, okay, if we're going to have a child, then my child is competing with these. I was like, listen, I just don't want a headache. That was that's an important thing for me. Like, I'm not looking for that kind of drama in my life. That's why people be chopping each other up. You see that American Navy petty officer the other day. She killed a 10-month-old child. Listen how horrible this is. And a woman, because the politician, the MP in Jamaica, I guess was her ex-boyfriend or he was dating her at the same time. I don't know what the entanglement was there. But she was jealous of this woman and her 10-month-old child, and she had them both killed. What a wicked thing to do. Who does that? You see, that's why, like I said, I'm not getting into that situation because you're not going to be looking at trying to kill me and my child because you love this little man and his little swinging engine. No, honey child. That not going to work. Rough Seas says it would be risky swinging with Sandy. I wouldn't want to be in CMR show with Sandy scolding me because I didn't do it right. Oh, God. Rough Seas, you're too funny. Siobhan says, for me, it's mating for life, not into anything else. If you're into that, good for you. Keep that to yourself. Oh, my God. That is so funny. Rough Seas. That's hilarious. Live says, when you marry, you're taking on the responsibility to also take care of someone's son or daughter for life. If they have kids, yeah. Johan says, call some of these MPs and their best friends. You mean Chris Saunders? Swinging engine. Oh my God. What a hot mess. Yasmin, good morning. She says, it's not for me, Sandy. I have to love you to blow in my face, and you can't love more than one person at a time. Oh, honey child, I think you actually can. I think you can love more than one person at a time. Now, whether or not you want to be in a relationship with more than one person at a time is a different question. But of course, you're capable of loving more than one person, even romantically. You know, how many of y'all don't think back to your first love and you're like, oh, yeah, I still love that person. I still long for them. It's just that they're not around or whatever. I think you can love more than one person at the same time. But that doesn't mean that you want to be in an active relationship with more than one person. Let's see. King had a moment there. All right. Alejandro is wondering, what did he miss? He showed up late to class. Ooh, Alejandro, you've been missing a discussion on swinging. Vanita says that's one reason that I don't like with Facebook and too many scammers. They sometimes come in your friends' names. Yeah, that's a little bit different than what's happening, consensually, obviously. All right. So listen, these people they made this post about swingers. Everybody in Cayman has been talking about it. Like I said, it's nothing new. This is what they said. My wife and I will be visiting Cayman in a few weeks. We are active members of the lifestyle, and are wondering of those who are like-minded, and wondering of there are any like-minded people in Cayman. We play together and alone. It says, I am 45 male, I'm straight, and she is 36 female and bi, and we would like to meet others while visiting. We also own an adult video production company, so if anyone is interested in being in a film, please reach out. Hope to hear from you soon. Now, the film part is kind of interesting. I mean, what's he saying? They're going to come here and make a movie while they're here? Does that get the support of DOT's movie production division? I don't think so. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, good morning again. After Sunday, just calling back at something else to your conversation. Yeah, forgive me, I just got another cold, so my voice might be a little bit sounding funny.
Yeah, that's okay.
It's not a law against multiple marriage here, right?
I think the law only permits you one marriage.
Okay.
Yeah, because we still have bigamy. Yeah, no, we have still have bigamy laws. In fact, occasionally someone has been charged with bigamy. It doesn't happen often, but I remember a case some years ago where a man was charged with bigamy because he was married in another jurisdiction and didn't bother to get a divorce.
But if someone is married now, like if someone come from another country and they got multiple wives, that's accepted here, right? They could come in and how they married, property and everything, and live a normal life, right? As far as I know.
I mean, the other jurisdiction might recognize it, but Cayman wouldn't.
So what would happen in that situation?
Well, we don't recognize it.
Is that food for thought?
Yeah.
Okay, but I know of a situation right now that is going on where a man is married to more than one wife in another country. They were married.
Yeah. Well, here I think the difference. Yeah, I think the difference is if they do not get married in this jurisdiction, they're not breaking the laws of this country. So country, they're married 5 times and their country permits it. Nothing we can do about that. So that would be the distinction.
Yeah, okay, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, because I know of a situation now where a man is married to multiple wives and he come in here to settle down and stay. So this Cayman should consider that. I mean, we got LGBT marriages, so they should just put it on there that if you want to go at least up to 2-3 wives, a person is allowed to have it, because I mean that it downfalls in it, but then there's benefits in it too, because some men don't want no more stress from 3 from 3 wives. But then think of it, one wife.
I've never
one
understood.
wife could stay home. One wife could stay home and cook. One wife could go to work. One wife could clean the house separate, and then the other ones could do the lawn or whatever, just to say, you know. And
But it sounds like you're looking for. It sounds like you're looking for a handyman, not a wife. But that person looking for handyman, not a wife. Jesus and peace.
Well, our wife is a helper, according to the Bible. So I mean, I'm just saying, you know, that's the kind of situation that you could have. Suppose you want to be intimate with one wife, and she said, no, not tonight. I feel tired or whatever tonight.
That's probably why most men do it.
Time on that. So she considered, all right, then I can go to the other bedroom now and go with wife number 2. So I mean, that's it, because when they married, and it's a lot of, you gotta have a lot of money too. Because I mean, in some situations, you know, it depends on what they're upset, because each wife, you gotta build a room for each wife, or a suite for each wife, because someone might want one bedroom and bathroom separate. So you got 3 wives, that's 3 different bedrooms additional to your children and all of that. So I mean, it's a financial undertaking too, in some sense, but it could work. It depends on if the person wanted to work. It could work, and if she accepts him to have 2 wives or 3 wives, well, I don't see no problem with it. So Cayman should consider that too. I mean, with all this fornication going on in adultery, that's the next step. I mean, you know, at least making it legal, because like it's not sin, and I'm not being deceitful. You know that I'm married. This is wife number 2. I'm not going out there and look nobody else. 300 or 200 is enough for me. So it won't be no fornication, rather than this one going with that one wife and that one running up and down with that one. So, you know, it makes a lot of sense.
Well, I'm going to tell you. Yeah, I'm going to tell you a story. There is a Caymanian, and I've heard this from multiple sources, that apparently has this kind of a situation. Obviously, they're not married, but he is married to one of the women, and his wife and him have an arrangement, and they've allowed another woman to come into their home. And she is like second wife, but not in law. So they live as a couple, and I don't know what goes on behind closed doors, but everybody seems to know about this arrangement. He is someone who is, you know, high up in the civil service, and people just are like, okay, that's what they're into. And apparently the wife has accepted it. Now, I don't know if she's accepted it because she thinks she don't have any choice, or if she really is completely on board, but honey, Jill, that's what I hear is going on right here in Cayman.
Well, okay. So it's,
so it's here. It's already here.
Yeah. It should just be right across the board. If you open it up to the books and just put it in the Constitution, saying, well, this could happen and this could happen. I mean, you know, this is a new age we're living in now. But you still got to be humble to God and everything, and remember who we are and stuff, you know.
Yeah, thank you, my dear.
Philosophers. Okay.
All right. Well, your hand says that your wife is obviously not a West Bayer. Because he's like, no West Bayer, not gonna tolerate that. So Finya's having a good laugh. So Vinya says this man wants to start a war on our little island more than what we already have. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandy.
Yeah, turn down the radio in the background for me, please.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, to answer that man's question, under our law, marriage law, you can have 16 wives. For better, for worse, for richer, or for poorer. So that's 16 wives.
Oh my gosh. And Lord have mercy.
This wife said the relationship between a husband and a wife is psychological. The husband said, yeah, one is psycho and the other is logical.
Oh my goodness. Yes, sir.
Anyway, Sandy, you keep it up.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
But them church people must really be boiling under the collar today.
Most of them probably listening, taking notes. You sit there. Have a good one.
Yeah.
I just gave you a joke, no.
Yeah. Look at Foster. All right.
Who is that? I don't know who that is.
That was the Truth for Youth Church.
Okay. And what happened?
I don't know how the story go, but it had been rumored.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, you take care.
Yes, sir. What a hot mess. Thank you. That sounds like one rumor I haven't heard yet, but try and get a hold of that one. That a real mall road there now. Yeah, honey child, them church folks, you sit there. They're taking notes how to up their game. Enough of them swinging too. So Al says the irony of these things, strange how it's always the man making up the rules. Can a man handle the woman making up the rules? Well, probably not, Al. Sonia says, good morning, Sandy. LOL. Lord help us. We got enough craziness on these islands already. Not everyone's settling to share. And again, you don't have to share. Let me remind you to the previous caller's question about bigamy. Hold on now. We got the answer right here for you, honey chill. So bigamy in the Cayman Islands is a criminal offense. Remember this case? This young lady was charged with bigamy back in March of 2018, and her matter was moved to Grand Court. So this was Kenya Alonzo Solis, age 29, accused of bigamy. And yes, found guilty and then deported back to Honduras. So she was married when she came here, didn't bother to tell the poor little Caymanian guy that she was getting married to that she was actually married, but she was married. And then, they can't be bothered with getting a divorce. So bigamy is not permitted. That doesn't mean you can't couple, I guess we could call it that. Apparently there's nothing against that. And if that's your fancy, then you can do it. 936-2626 is the telephone number. So, yeah, and Cayman wouldn't recognize external marriages, but if you come from a country that does, then it is what it is. But how would that even work? Because you can't put your multiple wives on your work permit as dependents, can you? Say you come from a country where you're allowed to have 3 wives and you're trying to come here to work and bring your 3 wives with you. Our immigration form has only got space for 1 spouse, honey child, so you're going to have to choose which is your favorite. I have never personally understood polygamy. To me, it's just too much work. It's too complicated. As the last caller said, for the man, it seems to work because, yeah, you can say, oh, I got this one to clean, this one to have a job. It looks like I said, honey child, you looking for a little worker bee, a handmaid, something. You are not a handy woman. Yeah, you're not looking for a wife. You're not looking for a partner in the traditional sense of the word at all. But to me, it seems like the complexities that you get into, it's too much. My brain can't take all that drama. When I get home, I don't want to think about, which husband do I want to spend time with today? Which husband am I going to sit down and watch this TV series with? Which husband do I want to hold hands with? It's just too much for me. I'm just like, listen, I couldn't even fathom. And I would think for most men, it's too much work. Why you want 3, 4 wives for? That all of them gonna be making demands on you, child. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Yes, ma'am. What do you think about this?
What I think about it? Do you have another show to spare?
No.
Well, I am not a woman of few words.
Uh-huh.
Since that time does, I guess I'll have to make it in a few words.
Mm-hmm.
So please don't cut me off. I might go overboard.
All right.
Because let me say first and foremost, anybody with this kind of thinking has serious psychological problems and to some extent psychopathic. Okay? It's immoral.
Mm-hmm.
It is sinful. And we don't need to be buying into this. We have seen already what bringing in what I call the importation of poverty to our little island, how it has changed the whole landscape. And if it were possible, it would even change us, I guess, geographically. So when you encourage this kind of stuff, because this is how it starts, okay? Then we will have other changes. We'll have our children going to school, and that will then be the conversation. They're not going to be vaping anymore, okay? Or sexting, is that what they call it?
Oh well,
it'll be about a young
sexting, yeah.
Yeah, it'll then be about having conversations about getting together instead of getting together on the weekend, go watch a little movie or have.
Well, I don't know what you know about these young people, my dear, but I think they might be doing that already.
But
but anyway,
I'm just saying, this is not something that is original to Cayman. All of the stuff that we see here that we do not accept, all brought here. And I think one of the callers kind of touched on it, but he's a man of very few words. And when he spoke about the work permits and stuff, I kind of believe, I can't speak for him. I think where he's coming from is that they should be screened better, because this is how the people are getting here. They're coming in here on work permits, and I mean hardly anybody that comes here on a work permit. So then you have that shift, and that that's why we're outnumbered. And then everything about us as Caymanians goes through the door. So I can speak for myself. I can't speak for anyone else. But I can tell you what. If any man approached me, and I don't care what age I was, and I knew he was married, I already found that to be so disrespectful and insulting. If I was in a relationship, and I don't care which man is listening to me and what his thoughts are, it has been said to me, and I wear it with pride. Badge of honor. I am not getting involved with anyone who's involved with anyone else, not knowingly. Okay? And if I find out, hello, goodbye. I hope you can accept it. Please take leave. You can always say hello to each other, but do not disrespect me to think I'm going to tolerate it. You don't even have an explanation to give me for that. That's not me. Okay? I'm like the seahorse. I'm made for life with one partner.
Yes, sir.
Death separates us, or a legal divorce, or whatever separates us. But it's not going to be no tango with me. So if that is your game, take it elsewhere and take it where it's accepted, not in Jean's house. Okay? So to all the young people who are listening, I say to you, do not let anyone influence you to think that this might be fun. This is dangerous, not just, the diseases and so on. It's dangerous in other ways. There are many shows that I have watched. I'm talking about true life stuff where people have met their deaths because of this kind of stuff.
Well, like I said, a lot of entanglement. Now, when I poured little baby in Jamaica, dead now. What a mess.
Yeah, there you go. And I mean, no child should have to suffer for the parents' sins. But this is the kind of stuff it can bring, you know, and it can bring worse because it could extend to other family members. So, I mean, while it could be a good joke for a lot of people, I think it's something to think about very seriously, because we have seen things change in Cayman that we never thought we would ever see happen here. Now it's become the law. So don't ever rest and say, oh, it'll never happen here. It could. It could. And that frightens me.
Well, I mean, people, I mean, let's be honest, people here have already lost their lives because of, entanglements and jealousy and all that kind of stuff. So that's been going on, I guess, since man, been on Earth.
Or being on
yes.
But let me just say, Ben, what do you call us saying something about legalizing or accepting having more than one wife? And it was a man. Now I wonder how he would feel, and I'm just going to say this and leave it out there, because that's not the point I want to make. How would he feel if a woman so choose to have about 5 husbands? Because I can tell you what, for the reasons he was stating, with all the stuff that they could be doing, I could do it about 10. Because it's kind of work. Oh yeah.
You got plenty yard work for him.
Plenty yard work. Okay?
Oh my gosh.
But anyway, but we know that's not the reason.
Yeah.
That's all from depravity. Men and women, but more so men. A lot of them are sexually depraved. And when they look at a woman, that is the reason they're looking at her.
Mm-hmm,
You know,
mm-hmm.
and if the person that you has partnered with in life is not the most exciting person sexually, that is no reason to go out to find another one, because the Bible tells us we should be equally yoked. And for those who don't understand what it means, you go and look it up. It means, it doesn't mean we should be of the same religion. We should be equally yoked. Think about what the yoke
Mm-hmm,
is.
mm-hmm.
So, in other words, if the sex is not so hot and that's the only problem you're having, talk about it. You know,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
find, as they say, old dog can learn new tricks. So if you're the pro at it, then teach her, and if she's the pro, make her teach you. You'll have a happy ending there. But I want to go back to the multiple marriage thing there. Remember, when you get married, that's an oath that you and the partner, that's an oath that you take before God, not man, but before God. So that's like going and swearing, putting your hand on the Bible and swearing. So how can you do that a couple of times and it be legal? That's why it's illegal. That's why bigamy, it's not just a crime, it's a sin. So, like I said, I know that a lot listen to me, they'll say, oh, you too old fashioned, you gotta get with the times. So guess what? I am with the times, I'm with my time. So, and those women who may have this, because let us be fair, we got some very kinky women out there too. So for those of you who might be thinking to corrupt somebody's good, decent son that they spent all their life raising, think again. And to you young men, when they bring it to you, put them in their place. As they got saying in Jamaica, when they say, you and I are not size. Okay? So
Thank you, my dear. Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Okay.
All right. And lots of people in the comment section agreeing with Miss Brenda's position. So let's read a few of those. Dominique says, exactly, caller. Damien says, talk it, Miss Brenda. Aliana says, yes, Miss Brenda, get him. Get him, get him, get him. Let me see here. Sophia says, yes, yes, yes. Miss Perla says, where's that kaboom button? Kaboom! There you go. Damien says, Satan is 70% in control. Control of who? Y'all take accountability for your own behavior, child. Siobhan says, sinful indeed, and people are buying into it. Rough C says, who am I to judge? Me telling someone that they can't have an extra boyfriend or girlfriend is like me telling them that they can't smoke pot. People are going to do it whether we like it or not. What a mess. These young people are doing sex at 9 before they go work. I started working at 9 years old. Till this day, do you know how to get a job instead of sexting? Let me tell you something, Perla, about that comment and that idea. I am always flabbergasted at how our seniors, and I know of a particular gentleman, let's put it that way, in his 80s now, who told me, and I was shocked when he said it to me, that he started having sex at the age of 9. I was like, 9? You're still a kid. What on earth? I don't think that children in this day and age are having sex. There was a time when they were probably having sex younger. Someone pointed out, even in medieval times, they're marrying you off at 11 and 12 years old. And so I certainly do not agree that any child is ready for any sort of a relationship, even with people, their own peers. They're psychologically not ready for it. They're physically not ready for it. But to be very, very clear, this isn't something that's new. Very young people and children by our standards today have been having sex, even some of our grandparents and parents, for a very long time. You'd be surprised. They're not going to tell you necessarily. But this man, he told me, honey child, he had no problems telling me. He's like, but I've been having sex since I'm 9 years old, Sandy. What's the problem? And I was like, Lord Jesus, I better just sip my little juice and keep on looking the other way. Yes. What a mess. All right. Let me just see a few more comments here. Okay. Somebody said they could hardly hear Miss Brenda. Turn up the radio, honey Jill. So Cameron says we've imported everything under the sun and adopted it, including culture and ideologies, and never made an effort to culture and nurture ours. Sorry, Mama. There's nothing we can do now except unite as one people and one agenda or goal. Again, I am going to say from what people are telling me, I don't have any firsthand experience, but from what people are saying to me, it seems like this has been around a really long time. Somebody else has sent me a WhatsApp message saying whatever, they did the rolling eye emoji, whatever. Like this stuff and worse not been going on here. Another person said, some of these people calling into the show, they're known as king of the toga, keys, and swingers parties in the 70s and 80s. See, y'all know what was going on back then, but I didn't know nothing about it, honey chill. So, yes, sir. Oh, what a mess. Hot mess. All right, let's see. 936-2626. We got about half an hour left in the program. Nadine says these are the last days. A lot of strange things happening, and it's going to happen. People glorify the wrong things. Nadine, for thousands of years, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say for thousands of years, there have been swingers, and they've been doing all kind of stuff. Look at the Greek times. They had the baths, and they were doing, listen, girl, you need to go look up the research. There's nothing new. So the last day has been from the first day. It's been the last days because trust and believe. Enough stuff has been going on. Johan says that if I lost 20 to 30 pounds and buffed up this sexy dad body, would that help me join the hot exclusive Cayman Swingers Club? Probably not, Johan, because somehow I think Pilar is going to be standing right behind you with a rolling pin in her hand. Rough C says, is there a membership fee for this club? I think it's probably free. I don't know. Aliana says they like him beefy, I hear nowadays. Yes, sir. Rough C says because like gum, a wife or a husband will lose its flavor. What a hot mess. Well, Siobhan says, well, the last I checked, marriage is till death do us part. And don't be killing off your spouses now. So if you don't want that, don't get married then, and make sure you tell the woman what you want from the relationship. Well, just because somebody tells you doesn't mean you can get it. And that's a whole other situation. Andrea says, I'm just saying, let consenting adults do what they want in the privacy of their homes or hotel. Johan jokingly says, oh, Lord, Johan, I can't with you. Swinging soon become an Olympic sport. Lord Jesus. Andrea says you'd be surprised to know that women instigate swinging more than men. Most of these men are just cockles for their wives. Okay. Okay. Yes. What a hot mess. Needed to make that one sink in. Gareth says, bear in mind that human lives were much shorter back in the medieval times. So they did this to promote reproduction too. Sonita says men get all the freedom. That's why half their children don't belong to them. Lord have mercy. Miss Olive says, I don't know. I'm too old fashioned, but I keep my wedding video. And when an argument comes up with me and my husband, I go back to watch the video to remind me. Aw, isn't that sweet? Remind you of what you were getting into and what you committed to. That's so nice, my tweetum. Yes. Inspiring. Send us some links here from Dr. Google. Aliano says that swinging relationships aren't and should never be a thing. And open relationships are based on immaturity and insecurities. So Anita says that Will Smith is bisexual from day one, and they both have an agreement. Lord Jesus. Yes. KK says that she's eating her corned beef sandwich and listening. Where you get corned beef sandwich this time morning? Gas station or what? Andrea says, watch the documentary on YouTube with swingers couples together for 30 years, and they've been swinging for as long. So she's saying it works for some people, that they can swing, make it a lifelong swinging. So Nita says, Cayman has gone to the dogs. This must be the West or Europe. Al says, in the natural world, the female is the dominant species. Sometimes the male makes up the laws to control and feed their egos, and the females has the strength only a strong man can appreciate. Yes, I hear you, Al. Johan says, let them live their best lives. They're not hurting anybody. And we're all consenting adults. At least they're honest about their wants and needs. And so I've been told, I've been told by a friend. You know, people, I'm asking for a friend. Yeah, a friend told me that. Oh, Rough C says some people can chew gum until their jaw locks up, and some people like to chew it until the flavor gone and then spit it out and they get a new piece. And some people like to chew the same gum with 3, 4, 5 extra pieces. Marriage is a beautiful thing as long as there is a prenuptial agreement, says Rough Seas. What a ting. Okay. Flashpoint, good morning, says, I don't think that women these days care about who the father is. It's about the man that can best support them and their children financially. Oh, honey child. No, sir. I needed to pick a good father. I don't know about anybody else. Michael says, did you not take a day pass at Hito while you were in Jamaica asking for a friend? No, sir. I've actually never even been in one of those properties. I don't really find looking at people walk around naked as something that is entertaining or engaging or sexually pleasing or arousing or anything. To me, that's just, ew. There's too many icky things about looking at naked people like that for me personally. So no, I would probably never even step foot on a hedonism, is that what it's called? Property. Do they still have those in Jamaica? Is it sandals that has the adult, and that's what they do? They walk around naked or half naked or whatever if they want to. Oh, chat, please. Things be hanging low and not hanging at all and shrinked up and ugh. I don't want to see any of that. Scott, good morning, Scott. Scott says, giving some of the archaic laws in Cayman's books, I'm sure even a social media post about swinging violates the Cayman Islands decency law. Ooh, honey, chill. What is Aliana says, I can say for a fact, because the last time I was engaged with, no, not to marry. So why did you engage if not to marry? But I would if she wanted. You're confusing me, Aliana. Had too many men trying to marry her, take on dates and sex her off. And I'm looking at her asking, why is she entertaining this? She makes me see a woman on the side of the road and all hell break loose. But make me see a woman on the side of the road and all hell. Oh. So your fiance had other people courting her? What a heat. Damien asks, is it legal to film porn in the Cayman Islands? No, I would think not. In fact, I didn't realize until recently that y'all could be bringing in adult toys now. Because apparently there are people here selling them, and I had to check with customs. I'm like, oh, when did this? Because I know y'all used to be digging at people things looking for, vibrators and all kind of stuff. I'm like, when did this become legal? And oh yeah, for a while now, apparently. I was like, oh gosh, y'all, nobody told me about it. Okay. Melissa says, I don't see the issue with what he's saying because the man here doesn't have a wife and 2 or 3 outside women anyways. Oh, she's saying people doing it anyway. So what's the big deal? Barbara says, my opinion is it should be women with more husbands than the other way around because most men cannot even keep up with one woman. Just my opinion. Good grief. Oh my gosh, what a heat. So I think the split is kind of down the middle though. Seems to me that who's swinging now, says Perla. Seems to me that y'all are, I believe if I had to take a poll on this, I think the swingers have it, folks, because they're in the WhatsApp, they're silently messaging me. And I would say that the swingers have it. They have the popular vote, even if they're not going to get on the radio, they're not going to call in. Child, they've been swinging a long time, and they do not want to stop swinging. What a heat. What can I say? That's just what I think it is. So yeah. Hot mess. Lizette says that means that he's 80 and stuff. Well, he's in his 80s and child. Yeah, he got a wife and a girlfriend at 85, 86 years old. And I think the girlfriend is more active because she's younger than the wife. I'm just saying. That's Cayman. Where's my That's Cayman song? What a mess. All right, folks, let's move on. Just have a look at some of the other comments. Yeah, Strong Will. That's the song that definitely comes to mind these days. What a ting. Hedonism, yes. That's a whole other brand, but isn't it owned by Sandals? Who owns Hedonism? I feel like it's the same parent company. And then they have one for like you want to do the family friendly thing. Hold on. I think they're owned by Sandals, Hedonism. Yeah. That's just a name, but I'm pretty sure they're owned by Sandals. Hedonism's resort FAQs. Top clothing optional resort in the grill. Clothing optional. Wow. Okay. Yes, sir. Here's this question, FAQ. Do you allow single adults to stay at the resort? The response is, while resort guests are predominantly couples, hedonism too exists for a guest to pursue pleasure, whether as a couple or a single person. Single occupancy rates are available and will be 150% of the per person nightly rate. They charge you more because you're single. Yes. They have a no tipping policy. Oh, that's interesting. Hedonism too has a no tipping policy because we believe that this is essential to a carefree, all-inclusive resort experience. This is one of our core policies, and we do our best to control this at the resort. 3 good reasons why we have no tipping, and then they talk about that. Wow. Okay. Listen to this. Are night or day passes available? Hedonism 2 is a lifestyle-friendly, clothing-optional resort where almost anything goes, you can imagine, and virtually everything is included with a daring day pass or one of our naughty night passes. You can do a night pass? Okay, Motel 6, come on through. Guest passes limited and are may not be. I think that's a typo. That should be and or. So they need to change that. Can somebody message Hedonism and tell them fix that typo? May not be available during high occupancies. Then you call this number to confirm availability. Okay. 280 guest rooms at Hedonism. They're designed as either clothing optional or nude. I don't even know. Oh my God. I'm not sure I can handle that. Okay. Do you have hair dryers? Wow. Oh, the picture looks nice. Is that what a room looks like with those purple things in the wall? What? All inclusive. Meals, snacks, beach grills, buffets, and gourmet sit down. I mean, do people sit down at dinner naked? How exactly does this work? Oh, geez. What exactly does clothing optional means? It tells you. You choose to go topless or naked in the pool and on the beach. On the clothing optional side, you may certainly do so. That said, once you're on the nude side, so there's a clothing optional and then a nude side? You're required to be nude if you're on the nude side. What? Our guests are mature, sophisticated, and non-judgmental, it says. A live and let live philosophy, this is on their website, this is so interesting, is key to the environment of a liberating vacation. There is never pressure for you or any guests to do anything you might find uncomfortable. Cover-ups, however, are required where food is served. Jesus, let's hope so. In the lobby and certain other public areas. And although guests are expected to be fully dressed in the nightclub, this does not mean that they cannot wear revealing outfits. On the contrary, we're very open to sexy. This is on their website? What the heck? What is the playroom etiquette? Hedonism 2 allows you to explore and rediscover yourself in a safe and non-judgmental environment. Our playroom is open to couples, single women, and invited single men. Well, who gets to invite you? Entrance to the playroom is located beyond the courtyard, opposite the tennis court, and playroom guests are expected to respect this personal space of others and play only if invited to do so. Open from 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. There's also a small happening hut near the nude pool, unmanned and open 24 hours. Oh, and day passes, as due to liability and insurance restrictions, guests on a day or night pass are not permitted in the playroom or happening hut. Wow. It didn't quite occur to me what all of this meant. But anyway, now that I'm reading their website, it says, are you expected to be nude at the nude beach and pool? And it says, yes, you're expected to be nude at the nude beach and pool / hot tub upon entering. You must disrobe immediately to join the other sunbathers. No, sir. Oh my gosh. I think I might have to go and do some investigative journalism at this hedonism resort, because my goodness, I have questions. I have a lot of questions about this. Complimentary Wi-Fi, that's the least of your worries. No videos, no taking of photos of nightly entertainment and shows, unsolicited video and photography. Oh my gosh. What a mess. Yes, sir. I tell you what, sounds like a lot going on there. Perla says, looking at naked people is like cellulite or an alien. What a ting. No, Johan. Will there be a 10:30 X-rated version of today's show? No, sir. I've got to get to work. Denver says, even the Asian store has toys. And Cayman? Which Asian stores? Oh, yeah. What a ting. Sophia says, Sandy, some women just had it with men, so they like toys better. No stress. Oh, Miss Ethel says, speaking of corned beef, $5, that's a good price. My first trip ever to Cayman Brac, 1 tin of corned beef, couple cents short of $10. Whoa. Live says, Blanche used to bring in the toys since the 1970s. I don't know who Blanche is, but okay then. What a hot mess. In his own yard. Wow. All right. Sonia says some people don't care about their health, STDs, AIDS, and the other life-threatening diseases. No, sir. Nikki shows up and says, I'm so late for class. Wagwan, what did I miss? You missed a swinging discussion, honey chill. What a ting. Any good-looking women private messaging you about Aliana, Rough Seas, Alejandro? No, Johan. I notice how you include yourself in there. No, No woman is messaging about you. Go sit down. So it's a sandals it is a sandals company or not a sandals company? I don't know. I don't know. Hedonism Hotel next to Grand Bahi Runway. Denver's asking for a friend. Where is the Stingers party this weekend? Stingers or Swingers? Which one? All right, folks, it is what it is. I don't know what more I can say about it. Be careful, though, because remember the police officer that was embroiled in a scandal recently where he has now been charged with sexual assault? Folks, I think that the woman who was in it with him, I think she brought the other female along as a friend, and it turns out that the woman said that she was not consenting to this. There was a sexual situation that happened. Y'all remember this now? This is Police Constable Anthony Marshall, sentenced to 5 years in prison just last September, while his female companion, Erica Lynch, got 4.5 years after they were convicted of indecent assault. So I don't know how they got the message wrong. However, the two of them were attempting to do stuff to a female, and the female said that she never agreed to it. She was not on board. And so he did stuff that got him 5 years, and she did stuff that got her 4.5 years imprisonment. Don't do it. Because the second you go to prison, especially her, all the female people are like, oh, that's what you want to be doing to a woman, honey, child? Here I am. Oh, no, child. What a mess. So they were both charged and convicted and imprisoned for assaulting another woman who, I understand it was they were trying to make it a threesome situation, except that the woman was not actually, into it. What a hot mess. This is the trouble that you can get yourself in. Nikki says best vacation ever. Where? At Hedonism? Oh Lord. Wait a minute. If you're not with that, why are you researching? Curiosity will kill the cat. Siobhan, it's called a joke. Relax. Okay. All right, folks. Everybody good? Just do you. Just, make sure it's consenting. Are you planning on going, says Dan Sheffrat? No, I'm not. They have nude weddings too? What? It's just too much. All right. I'm not mad at you though. If you're into it, I'm not really mad at you. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so it's not sandals. Oh, okay, there you go. Anyway. Aliana says, is there a good sex toy store on island? I need a special item to order. That Big Booty Judy 4.0. What a thing. All right, folks. So listen, I'm going to make a public plea today. Enough of that. We've finished talking about it. I can't help y'all. If you want to go look up these swinging people, JD posted the Reddit post earlier. I don't know if they're monitoring that, if they can reach out to you. But let's move on to something a little bit more interesting. Mark says that you'd save a lot of money on wedding dress and a tuxedo. Okay, let's talk about something else. If you are a Caymanian, I want y'all to reach out to me, that owns a Caymanian product making business, right? I want you to reach out to me. I told you guys I'm doing a new business venture, and I want to have access to promote other Caymanian businesses. I want to have like a little corner that says made locally, right, in the Cayman Islands. So you need to be able to give me a sampler of your products. And I'm happy to even pay for it to put on display because this is going to help you, but be smart and give me a sample. And then your little calling card, your business card, or whatever to go along with it. And the idea is I want to put a little basket together with Caymanian made products so that guests can go like, oh, like this pepper jelly is made in the Cayman Islands. And here's a card and a contact number for the person who I can get this from if I want to do that on my visit. So there's some recommendations. Somebody said there's people who make the peppermint candies, for example, which I know is sort of like a Caymanian tradition. Nikki, I think you should reach out to me. You and I need to talk, actually. So if you're back on island, Nikki, please reach out, because I want to be able to direct people to you've got a small business in West Bay, tourism, like little shops, whatever. So I want to partner with other Caymanian owned businesses to kind of direct my clients in your direction potentially. So reach out, message me, and I'll give you a bit more information about that. So Ms. Brenda says there's Lana's Caymanite Creations. So Nikki says I'll hook you up. All right. So let me know, whatever it is that you have, whatever it is that you make. The only request is that, try to do products. I like unique products. And I think people, when they come to the Cayman Islands, want to see a flavor of what we have to offer here. So whatever you got, let me know. Maybe Nikki, we could do some like rum cake samples or something. So link me up. All right, folks. Anything else that is pressing this morning? Let me just have a look at our headline news to see what go on. We have some missing teenagers. Hopefully they'll be found soon. Does anybody ever wonder why the RCIPS can't get better looking photos of these young people? I mean, they go missing so often. And quite frankly, this young lady in particular has been missing on more than one occasion, although I don't know which one's on the right and which one's on the left. But anyway, they've been missing on more than one occasion. Anyone, and a lot of them are actually members of the boys and girls home, of the children's home, I should say. So when you go into the children's home, do they not do a proper intake where they do proper photos and stuff of these young people? Clearly not, because that photo on the left is so fuzzy. I don't even know what I'm looking at, really. I guess if you know who she is, you can kind of make her out. But why don't they have proper photos? No, sir. But young girls, most of you are leaving of your own volition. You're out there talking to these older men who only want to use you for your bodies and for sex. Do not believe them. They're going to just fill you up with babies and STDs. Don't fool with them. This is not going to help your future. Please go home, contact your families. They're worried about you. Both of these young ladies have been missing since the 31st. I don't know if they went out trick-or-treating and saw some little monster that then they decided to go home with. Girls, respect yourselves more. And don't be fooling with these little boys out in the streets. They don't mean nobody no good. Trust and believe me. Okay. So we have a woman robbed of her handbag outside of the station there on Eastern Avenue. Be careful, folks. Of course, you want to ensure that, like I said, I'm not even walking with a handbag most of the time. Okay. So, she was just standing there by the gas station minding her own business, and somebody came and snatched her handbag from her. And it seems like she got injured in the process as well, based on what the police report said. That is so sad. She was hanging on to that handbag, child. Oh, man, that's when you wish you had a taser. You could just zap his behind. And then he ran off in the direction of Swamp. That man lived down in Swamp. You hear me? Somebody know who he is. Keep an eye out, Swamp people. And if you know who he is, let the police know. All right. Reminder that Kunk season has opened. We talked enough. We were kunked out yesterday. We talked enough about Kunk, but please remember there's a legal daily limit for possessing Kunk, and it is 5 per person or 10 per boat each day, whichever is less. Only Queen Kunk may be taken, and no one can take, permit to be taken, purchase, receive, offer for sale, or possess more than 5 Kunks from Cayman waters. Okay. The legal daily limit for possession of Wilkes during the open season is 2.5 gallons. That sounds like a lot. in the shell, or 2.5 pounds of processed milk per person per day. No one may purchase, receive more than 2.5 gallons in the shell or 2.5 pounds of processed milk from Cayman for each day. And then they talk about other things like what is chittens? Is it chittens? Chittens, periwinkle, and bleeding teeth may not be taken. I don't know what any of that is, for the record. I have no clue. What is chittens, periwinkle? What is bleeding teeth? That doesn't even sound like something you'd want to take. They remind you that starfish, sea eggs and urchins, sea cucumber, and sand dollars may not be taken. And remember that lobster season now does not open until December the 1st. Okay, and it's an offense to have them outside of the season. And there's a whole little thing. You guys got to go read this little article. And what's the difference between a conch and a wilk? Because they kind of look a lot alike. Okay, I'll share that link with you. Was it Cheetons? Hold on, somebody just say, I don't even know what it is. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Hold on. It's pronounced, is it Chitons or Cheetons? Which ones? Chitons? Somebody found a missing dog in Newlands. Can you please tell them, call me? Okay. I don't know anything about that, but I'll message it to the person doing the social media today. Okay. Chai, like cry. Oh, Crichtons. Crichtons. Oh, okay. Okay. I still don't know what that is, honey Jill. I've never heard of it before. So this person says, I went to hedonism back in the 1990s. Why is this such a big deal now? But all these women here posting about it, like they not got 5 baby fathers. Yes, sir. What a hot mess. This person says, back in the 70s, they used to have key parties. What's a key party? You drop your keys in a bucket, and whichever key you pulled out on the other end that night, that's who you went home with. What? And Cayman in the 70s? Whoa. Yes, sir. Oh my gosh. Please tell parents to stop allowing their smaller kids to sit in the front seat with no seatbelt on. That's not good. Somebody got a picture here of this happening. Oh, mess. Okay. We'll post that up. Thank you very much, ma'am. Chitons. Chitons? Oh, Lord, have mercy. Anybody can just call and tell me how to pronounce it, because I have no clue. All right. And what does that look like? I don't even know what that looks like. Doesn't sound like I want to eat it. Miss Brenda says, 5 baby fathers, speak for yourself. They are the fossil-looking creatures on the iron shore. Ew, those little ugly things, like they have like almost like a little ridge in their back. Why would we want to eat those? People eat those? Oh, I'm not too sure about that. Oh my, no, sir. Similar to nuts and bolts parties, says somebody else. All right. Some people love them, says this person. Oh yeah. Oh, those. I didn't even know that they were edible. Oh Lord. No thanks. All right, folks, that's all she wrote. Y'all have a fantastic day. See you tomorrow.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels and visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.